Craig. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover today, and the first thing I'm going to talk about on the radio is Trump's official portrait, okay, for the inauguration, which I don't know, have we ever had an official portrait for the presidential inauguration before? I don't know, but I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, and I'm going to answer this when I get on the radio in a few minutes. What do you notice about President Trump's official portrait? What do you notice about President Trump's official portrait for the inauguration? It's a let me see if you guys could figure it out. You are smart people. If you're listening to me, you're smart. So I know you guys will figure it out, but I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to go over it when I go on the radio in a few minutes. This is our top of the hour break. If you're just joining, this is where MAGA comes to talk. My name is Brian. I'm at the radio station today. I'll be back at my studio on Monday, back here on Tuesday. And then when I get back from California, I'll get into a regular schedule. I'll either be here every Tuesday or every Tuesday and Friday, unless something comes up. Oh, President Trump is definitely on a mission. We are 3 days, 5 hours, and 59 minutes away from President Trump's inauguration. Oh, yeah. President Trump is so smart. If you'd like to call in, if you're on hold, stand by. Today is Open Phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. Christine, one of the moderators in the live chat, came up with that, Open MAGA Mike Friday. And I thought that was so sharp. She came up with that like the first time we did it, just like that. I thought that was so good. Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You're not limited to the topics that I'm going to bring up. Although I'm bringing up a lot of good things, and hopefully you will find them worthy of discussion. And then if you're watching live, you can call in. The number is pinned to the chat. This is our top of the hour break on the radio, so we are going to be on the air in just over 2 minutes. He is wearing a blue tie. You know, he stopped wearing the red tie every day since the campaign was over, and I was wondering, was he wearing the red tie every day during the campaign so when they cut up videos for commercials and stuff, it was consistent? Oh, man, we are so lucky to have Trump back, aren't we? I mean, this is just spectacular. Spectacular. About a minute and a half, a little more than a minute and a half will be on the air. The time just changed. Let me see. No. Just over a minute until showtime.
Prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed, and you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing.
I don't know if I could narrow it down to just 3 things I'm excited about with Trump coming back, but
Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around. These are the only 2 advertising on our
here we go.
station. So don't use
one commercial after this.
Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Last commercial. All right.
In business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs
There we go.
at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price.
Someone's been wearing my
on
headphones.
new and used tires. Again,
Someone
my
has been
number is
wearing my headphones.
977-9445. Thank you.
Here since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show.
All right, it is Friday, January 17th, 2025. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Welcome, everyone. We are 3 days, 5 hours, that's right, 55 minutes and 15 seconds away from the inauguration of President Trump. And the time, I got to tell you, this president-elect period that we're in is like, it's going by so slow. It can't get here fast enough. Can't get here fast enough. Very excited. So, President Trump did something that I don't know if any other president has ever done. Yesterday, President Trump unveiled his official portrait for the inauguration. Do we normally have official portraits for the inauguration? I just don't remember ever having that before. Have we? Do you know if we ever had one? Well, we've got one now. If we've had them before, if we've never had them before, or they're every time, I don't know. But even if every president since photography has had an official portrait for the inauguration, none of them will be remembered. President Trump's official portrait for his inauguration will go in the history books and will be forever remembered, because this is not just a regular picture with an American flag behind it. And I'm not going to troll for calling. Most people like me would give out the number and ask you all to call in and what is he doing here? What was he thinking? What does this mean? And all this stuff. I'm not going to do that. That's a bunch of no talents that have nothing to say, that are trying to kill time. But what President Trump has done is reenacted his mugshot. It is a reenactment of his mugshot in front of the American flag, and that is his official portrait for the inauguration. I got to tell you, President Trump, he is definitely a showman. He knows how to. As soon as I saw it yesterday, I was watching on X, and they were making all kinds of bizarre comments about the pose and the lighting and all this BS. And I knew right there, it's the mugshot. Didn't you? It's the mugshot. You know, I've mentioned this a few times. Steve and I were friends with Eldridge Cleaver from the Black Panthers. The real Black Panthers, not these idiots that run around now. And he did all they did, you know. He was the propaganda minister for the Black Panthers. He's very famous, Eldridge Cleaver. And when he was in prison, he wrote a book, and it had the best title you could have for a book written by a guy in prison. It was called Soul on Ice, because it was like the 60s, 70s soul with Soul on Ice. You know, a very good title. And I was thinking about that when I saw President Trump's official portrait here for the inauguration. POTUS on Ice, maybe, because they tried to put him in prison. And make no mistake about it, if Donald Trump had not been reelected, and this drunken woman that sleeps with married men, Kamala Harris, had become president, last Friday, Judge Merchan would have sent him to prison. He would be in prison right now. Jack Smith would have convicted him and got him another prison sentence in the federal system. So, what he has overcome is amazing. It's spectacular, and it is historic. They shot him. They tried to shoot him again. It looks like there were 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. Redacted reported this when President Trump was at the Capitol, when Jimmy Carter was lying in state. Someone tried to get into the Capitol with knives. Another guy set their car on fire out front. And you know everything else they've done to him in the last, well, since Obama started spying on him at Trump Tower during the first campaign. It's been nonstop. And here he is in 3 days, 5 hours, and 51 minutes. He'll be sworn in as the 57th president of the United States. And what President Trump is doing is absolutely amazing. I have a clip. I'll play it later. There was a clip of President Trump on an interview yesterday. I'm not sure I have it. If I don't have it, I'll tell you about it. I'll just tell you about it now. I don't need to play it. I'll just tell you what he said. If I have it, I'll play it coming up, but I'll just tell you what it is now. Dan Bongino, who is not going to be the Secret Service director, the Secret Service agent who was with President Trump when they shot him, who's on my phone wallpaper. You know, I have a picture in my living room of President Trump when he got up with the fight with the blood on his face when that Never Trumper shot him. I've got that on my living room. I've got several shirts with that on it. You guys have seen the wallpaper on my iPhone is that, and that Secret Service man is now going to be the Secret Service director. So we've got someone Trump can trust. I wonder if he's going to fire those overweight ladies that couldn't find their holster to put the gun in Butler. They kind of those lady Secret Servicemen in Butler. They're kind of like the lady firefighters that are running the LA Fire Department. But anyway, Dan Bongino interviewed President Trump, and President Trump said that there's two people he's going to find out all about them. One of them is the crowbar guy, the guy that broke the windows in the Capitol and opened the door. He wants to find out who he is. He wants him identified and find out who he is and get to the bottom of that. I can't wait. And then he said he also wants to find out everything there is to know about Ray Epps. So President Trump, he's not playing. He's not playing at all. And, so far as Ray Epps goes, there's three possibilities with Ray Epps, and there may be others, but there's three major possibilities about who he is, and what he's about. One, he's who he says he is. That's a possibility. He's who he says he is. But there's two other possibilities as well. And President Trump's going to find out. He's going to get Kash Patel on it. And when Kash Patel comes out with reports after investigations, you can take what Kash Patel says to the bank. But there's two other possibilities. One, he's a deep state Fed of some sort with some federal three-letter agency. That's one possibility. Because remember, he was directing people to the Capitol on January 6th. And then there's another possibility, and that's that he's a Russian spy. Which do you think is most likely? Or is there a fourth or others that I've missed? But those are the ones that I think are likely. He's who he says he is. That's possible. We'll find out. Trump will find out. Listen, we're MAGA. We don't frame innocent people because we don't like them, like the Democrats have been trying to do. So he's either who he says he is, a Fed, or a Russian spy. And out of all of those, my guess would be Russian spy, because the tactic he was using is right out of the Soviet playbook, propaganda and such. That would be my take. We'll find out because President Trump is going to get Kash Patel on the case. And when Kash Patel reports to President Trump will tell us, and that'll be the story. That'll be the fact. We're going to take our first break of this Friday. Now, it is Friday, which means open phones. On Friday's show, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. You are not limited to the topics that we bring up on Friday's show. It is Open Phone Friday, or as we have renamed it, Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you can call in about anything and everything on your mind. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
On the sidelines, get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now.
Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting.
Today's freshest local farm.
Okay, we're going to get to some stories when we get back. This is exciting, guys. This is, are you guys excited?
And Chef Frank's talent combines these fresh ingredients to create delicious, novel, exciting dishes.
Make every evening a celebration at Cafe Shawna, located in Palm Beach, PGA Boulevard in Rivertown, Detroit. Call 561-627.
I'm excited.
561-627-2662.
I am so excited. Oh, here's Don, our caller, calling
Be
into
sure to enjoy a
Joe
glass of
Thomas.
wine
Let
From
me pull it up.
Cafe
me pull it
Chardonnay's
up.
legendary wine cellar.
What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Donna from Jupiter. I'm calling to share my great experience with Jupiter Joe. My husband and I started listening to you a few years ago, and that's when we learned about Jupiter Joe Thomas. We're seniors with no pension and collect Social Security. All our investments were in stocks and IRAs until we heard about Jupiter Joe, speaking of having your money work for you. So we got in touch with him, and he went above and beyond trying to locate all our diversifications. He answered all our questions clearly and returned every phone call. He recommended an annuity that enabled us to get a safe monthly income for life. So I just want to tell everyone, if you're in need of additional income, especially with the high cost of everything these days, please call Joe Thomas. It's no cost to you. He is so professional, knowledgeable, trustworthy, and you can put total confidence in him. My husband and I can't say enough good things about Jupiter Joe and his staff.
I want to thank you for your kind words for Jupiter Joe Thomas. If you want to call Joe Thomas, I'm going to give you his number. It's a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999, 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com.
Join us for Moments of Scripture, hosted by Jan Coleman every Sunday morning from 6 to 6:30 a.m. We will read the Bible, pray, and offer blessings to all who listen in the name of our Lord and Savior. Moments of Scripture every Sunday at 6 a.m.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Don't forget, join Steve Kane and me at Wings Plus, the Sample Road location in Coral Springs. We are inviting you all to join us Monday at noon, lunchtime, as we watch the inauguration of our favorite president, the greatest president, Donald Trump, together. Wings Plus has TVs throughout. There is not a table where you don't have a great view of a big screen TV, and all of them will be carrying the inauguration. You are all invited. Wings Plus, the Sample Road location is, remember, there's 2 locations of Wings Plus in Coral Springs. We are going to be at the Sample Road location, okay, which is where we do all our appearances. It is about a mile west. About a mile west. Don't set your odometer, okay? But it's about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample in Coral Springs. There's plenty of parking. You can also park across the street, okay? In the shopping center across the street. We look forward to seeing you there. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to play Jim Acosta. He's praising Biden. I was reading this morning that CNN is thinking about moving Jim Acosta's time slot to midnight. I guess they're trying to get him to quit. But and he's dyeing his hair. Last time I saw him, he was much grayer. Anyway, here's Jim Acosta. Listen.
A moment to talk about something President Biden said during his farewell address. He warned the free press is crumbling in this country. I would add that's only if we, the people, let that happen. Journalists exist to seek the truth, to tell people's stories, to lift up voices that may not be heard otherwise, to shine a light on injustice, and to hold the powerful accountable. We are not the enemy of the people, we are the defenders of the people. Walter Cronkite once said, freedom of the press is not just important to democracy, it is democracy. I want to take a moment to show you something. A woman sent me this sign 8 years ago. She carried it here at a march in Washington. She wrote on the back of the sign, "To me and the press here in D.C., you have our support." To Nora, wherever you are, right back at you. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
Yeah, all right, Jim Acosta, whatever. Reporting, calls that reporting. This is amazing. You know, Walter Cronkite, you know, he would... Jim Acosta's no Walter Cronkite. Although Walter Cronkite was a liberal guy. He was really a very strange dude, but he was pretty powerful. You know, I'm old enough to remember when Walter Cronkite was the anchor on the evening news. Remember that during the Iranian hostage crisis? Every night, day 246, America held hostage. Remember that? Oh, my goodness. You know, well, I'm surprised he didn't get any mentions during the Carter funeral. Walter Cronkite is credited with the defeat of Jimmy Carter. You know, because he was doing what? Editorializing. Now, I agree with what he was saying, and most people did, but he went beyond news and became an advocate during that. So he was the beginning of the fake news. But here's the thing: it's just the cable news it's out of date. It's from another time. No one trusts it. You know, the new media that they can't control is also free press that they're trying to suppress. You know, in that same farewell speech, Biden was trying to suppress the new media because they can't control it. You know, why do you think they pay people like Jim Acosta millions of dollars a year? It's not because they're worth it. It's so they can control them. They'll do whatever it is they want them to do because they're paying them so much money. The people in the mainstream media have made deals with literally the devil through these inflated salaries. All right, let's go to our phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Montana Mark.
Hey, Mark, what's up?
You know, nowadays, the regular American citizens with their iPhones, they can put videos on the news.
Yes, they can.
January 6th, I watched from the before and the whole rally. I came upon a video where there was a man from that rally that left before it was over, and he made a video walking from the rally to the Capitol, and it took quite a while to get there. It wasn't like a 40-second walk, but the man, he got to the Capitol and the riot was already going on, and you know the Democrats had that all rigged.
Yeah, we know. That's why Trump's going to get to the bottom of it. I cannot wait for President Trump to identify the guy with the crowbar. By the way, thanks for the call, Mark, who broke the window and reached in and opened up the door of the Capitol from the inside. I cannot wait for that person to be identified. They also have the identity and have kept it secret of the pipe person from the DNC. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Megan from Texas.
Hey, Megan.
Hi, just real quick, I have to share, Monday is also my boyfriend's birthday, so we are having a Trump birthday party and inaugural party at the same time.
Well, there's only one inaugural party, and that's our party here in Florida at Wings Plus in Coral Springs.
I don't know. I have the iconic photo cake topper and a ginormous poster of President Trump.
Mm. Oh, it will pale in comparison to the shindig we're putting on. Yeah.
I'll put $1 on the table. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Yes, you have the better party, but I just wanted to tell you that it's his birthday along with President Trump. So I told him.
What a great birthday! The inauguration of President Trump. What a great birthday present he's getting.
Exactly. I told him, I said, "Here's your birthday present. President Trump back in office. I don't have to buy you anything."
That's right. No, it's exciting. All right, take care. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, that portrait you talked about earlier, that's him getting in their faces. You came after me, I'm coming after you. You know, that type of thing. He's getting in their faces with that portrait, and he had to do that. You know,
absolutely. He's sending a message.
He's sending a message, yeah. As far as Jim Acosta, we know what this is with Jim Acosta. Oh, they're trying to get him to quit. They don't want to have to fire him because they know if they have to, they know that if they fire him, that they're gonna have to pay him. They want him to quit. That's why they moved it.
Yeah. That's what they do. I mean, you know, like, you know, I remember that when I used to have a management position at a radio station. It was awful. They gave me this fancy title and no raise. I was the operations manager. Woo! And there was somebody that, there was a board op that was, remember Mike, I told you about that board op? We called the engineer up in the middle of the night because the station was off the air. The board op didn't hit the button, the on button on the microphone. They called an engineer from Miami to drive all the way to Fort Lauderdale. They charged more than plumbers. I had to go in, and I said, I can't get woken up. We got to fire this. They said, can't fire him. We got to pay them unemployment. So we scheduled them for like 4 hours a week, 3 hours a week, or something like that until they quit. That's what they're trying to do to Acosta.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. And look, we know. These both of these networks, CNN and MSNBC, are going down, and they're trying to do everything they can do to survive. And this is part of it, you know. Well,
if the cable news wanted to survive and not go extinct like dinosaurs, what they would do is start reporting the news. That's all they got to do. Report the news.
And look, here's the deal. You know, you mentioned Walter Cronkite. He's not even this Jim Acosta isn't even Tim Russert. You know.
Oh yeah. You know, but Walter Cronkite, okay? Walter Cronkite was he was an editorialist. He started when the editorializing in the media started with Walter Cronkite. Walter Cronkite is the father of fake news. If you were to list, because you're old enough to remember, what are like the 2 or 3 most famous moments with Walter Cronkite? One I mentioned during the Iran hostage thing. Day 362, America held hostage. What else through his career on television can you think of that Walter Cronkite's famous for?
Didn't he have something to do something about Vietnam? He said about Vietnam that got a kickstart.
Yeah, he did. Actually, he did. You're right. He did have something. Walter Cronkite is the founding father of fake news. The day that Kennedy was shot, he took his glasses off and pretended to wipe a tear from his eye. It's part of all the documentaries. He pretended to wipe a tear from his eye. And, that's what he's most famous for, is that. And that's when the editorializing began, and it never ended. Hey, Mike, I got to run, but thanks for the call. Oh, yeah, he did do. What did he do with Vietnam? Does anyone remember? There seems to have been something. Maybe Mike and I are both wrong about that, and it's just some strange memory. But the pretending to cry on the air when President Kennedy was killed, that was the beginning of the fake news, and Walter Cronkite brought that to us. All right, we'll take our bottom of the hour break and be right back.
Making morning radio great again.
I found that clip. Let me see if this is the right one.
Can we get an answer between you, Pam Bondi, and hopefully Kash Patel on who this person is and have the FBI open the books? Because I believe this is a huge scandal and a massive cover-up.
I think we will, and I think we're going to find out about Ray Epps.
Okay, yeah, this is the one. I'll play that when we get back. I'm sure you guys. What else did he do? Cronkite. the tier. In fact, I'll share this when we get back. I will share what I was going to share with you guys when we get back. Yeah, that was Koppel, not Cronkite. You were correct. That was Koppel. You are correct, sir. I'll correct. I will give you credit for correcting me on that. Hey, I was 9. Give me a break, guys, okay? I was in 3rd, 4th grade. Ted Koppel with the toupee. One time, Ted Koppel, he was answering viewer questions that they mailed in letters, and they asked if his hair was real, and he took his toupee and moved it on air. That was pretty funny.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta, second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I brought the same dedication and discipline to our family.
Oh, right now, Tom Laporta's son's commercial is playing.
Nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Yeah. And remember, that's Tom Laporta's cell phone. You can call or text or go to his website, laportaroofing.com. But the cell phone number is not on the website. All right? You got to go by the number we give out, which is his cell phone. I'll be back in just a moment.
My pillow, but Mike Lindell stood strong, just like President Trump. This is Brian Craig. It's time to celebrate President Trump's historic victory with My Pillow's Price Buster deals. Save with our promo code Kane.
We'll be back after this.
I sleep on a My Pillow mattress every night, and you can choose from top-rated mattresses, including the revolutionary My Pillow foam mattress with 5 comfort layers for the best sleep ever, and the 2-sided encased coil quilted mattress. It's built for unbeatable comfort and delivered right to your door. The My Pillow mattresses come with a 10-year warranty, a 6-month money-back guarantee, and they're made right here in the United States. There's never been a better time to upgrade your sleep. Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings. Celebrate Trump's win and sleep like a patriot.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. I am going to correct misinformation that I gave before the break. You know, sometimes memories get faded. One of the moderators in my YouTube channel chat, Chuck, corrected me. It was not Walter Cronkite who did Day 196, America Held Hostage. It was Ted Koppel. Ted Koppel. Remember Nightline? Not Walter Cronkite, so I was incorrect. So, you know, hey, listen, I'm not always right, just most of the time, right? Even Rush Limbaugh only claimed to be right 99% of the time. All right, so welcome back, one and all. It is the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. I found the clip of President Trump that I want to share, but before I do, I want to mention this before I forget. And last night, my wife and I, on my podcast, my wife uncovered something, and I wanted to share this with you. Okay, now you all have been watching. We talked about this on my podcast last night, which you all should listen to. The Brian Craig Show podcast. You know, this week, we uploaded our 1,800th episode earlier this week. So there's over 1,800 episodes. Great for binge listening. In fact, you can relive the entire first Trump campaign and term all over again just by binging my podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast. It's on my YouTube channel and all podcast platforms. I'm even on Audible, which is like classy, right? So anyway, my wife uncovered something during the podcast that blew my mind away. And I'm going to share it with you, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. And then I'll get to this incredible statement made by the greatest president ever, Donald Trump. Now, you all have been watching these Senate hearings, and Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth have hit home runs. I mean, it's just the way it is. And these Democrats, you know, every congressional confirmation hearing I've ever seen, there's always one Democrat that goes lower than anyone else. There's always a real scumbucket Democrat that gets really scuzzy, and that's the Democrat that's remembered from the hearings. In the Clarence Thomas hearings, it was Corn Pop's buddy, Joe Biden. Remember back then when he had those terrible hair? Remember when Joe Biden was a senator and he got the hair transplants? People called him Plugs Biden. He had the worst hair transplants. Biden had the hair transplants that look like doll hair, where they put the little things across the road. They do like rows of hair, like rows of corn. And he was nasty during that Clarence Thomas confirmation hearing. Oh, man, you watch anything on that, you see three things. Clarence Thomas, that liar Anita Hill, and Joe Biden screaming like he's some moral authority with his junkie kids and all his bribe money and everything that he's taken. During the Kavanaugh hearings, the standout was Willie Brown's girlfriend, this drunken alcoholic. Have you seen her this week? She's tanked every time she talks. Kamala Harris was barking crap at Kavanaugh. And in these confirmation hearings, the Democrat lowlife scumbucket is the senator lady from Hawaii. What's her name? Hirona? What, you know what I'm talking about? The Hawaiian lady senator? How do you pronounce her name? Hirono? Hiro? You know what I'm talking? Well, here's what... I've got some other better names that are more accurate for her than her actual name. And she represents Hawaii. Hirono. Senator Hirono. And this is what my wife found out about her that blew me away. Now, she's an older lady. She was born in 1947. Okay? And when you see someone who's obviously Asian American from Hawaii, you don't think too much of it, right? Because a lot of Asian Americans in Hawaii and everything else. But this is what my wife found out that blew me away, and I can't believe no one has picked up on this in the media when she's showing what a lowlife scumbucket she is. She was born in 1947, the daughter of a World War II veteran. In 1947, she was born in Japan, and her father was in the Japanese army in the Second World War. And let me tell you something. The Japanese are good people today. No doubt about it. You know, I'm watching the remake of Battleship Yamamoto. You ever remember that anime from the 70s? They remade it a few years ago. They called it Star Blazers. Because in the 70s it was too close to the war, and Yamamoto was, bad guy, bad Japanese guy. So the Japanese army of World War II were like ISIS. They were like Al-Qaeda. They were the worst. You guys know what they did at the Bataan Death March? The Japanese army that Hirono's father was a member of, and she was born 2 years after the war in Japan, the Japanese army was cutting the heads off of American soldiers during the Bataan Death March. Cutting their heads off and taking photographs while they were doing it and posing. They were like worse than ISIS. So, a couple things about this. How many people in Hawaii know this? Now, of course, on December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy, forces from the Empire of Japan, of which Hirono's father was a member of, launched an unprovoked attack on Hawaii. And, Hawaii, a big part of Hawaiian history is the attack on Pearl Harbor. How many people in Hawaii know that their senator, who's barking all this morality at these great people, Pete Hegseth and others, Pam Bondi, was born in Japan in 1947, and her father was in the army that attacked Pearl Harbor. I know it was a naval attack, but it's the same military force. Do you think many Hawaiians know that? I mean, why don't they put up a candidate to run against her? You know that story? I used to think this story was fake, but it's true. Remember that story of the Japanese soldier that didn't know the war was over, and he was in the Philippines fighting the war until the 1970s? It's a true story. Look him up after 9 o'clock. In fact, do it after 9:30, please, after the real estate show. Don't do it until after 9:30. Go look it up. The Japanese have made a movie about it, which I recently watched, and I can't remember his name. I'm not very good with names, guys. But I've watched so many documentaries about this guy. I always thought it was fake. This guy, he was a lieutenant in the Japanese army, the same one that Senator Hirono's father was in, and when the Philippines fell and the war was over, he still had his platoon, and some of them ran off, some of them died, some of them got killed. He was fighting the war until the 70s. It's a true story. The last Japanese soldier, they spent decades trying to track him down. They even took his brother to the jungles of the Philippines and put him on loudspeakers saying, "I'm your brother, the war's over." He thought they were tricking him. And he was launching attacks. And when they caught him in the 70s and he finally surrendered, he was still wearing his Japanese army uniform. It's a true story. Look the guy up after 9:30. It's a fascinating story. Well, I'm starting to think, is it somebody just told me in the chat room, Agoda Takeshi? I'm starting to think that Lieutenant Takeshi was not the last Japanese soldier. I'm starting to think that Senator Hirono from Hawaii is the last Japanese soldier, and she's still fighting the Second World War for the Japs. Now, when I say the Japs, I don't mean the fine Japanese people of today. I'm talking about the World War II era that attacked us, that were cutting heads off of our people, that were trying to conquer even Australia. What the heck? Let me explain this to you. I bet you the Hawaiians don't know this. That she was born in Japan in 1947, and her father fought in the same military force under the emperor that attacked Hawaii. That would be like New York electing a senator who's the daughter of an Al-Qaeda guy that knocked down the buildings. It's the same thing. Is that nuts? I was in shock when I heard this. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. When we come back, I want to play this great clip of our great president, Donald Trump. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Is she still fighting World War II for the Japs? Because she's doing a real good job undermining the President of the United States. And I bet you, if you went on the streets of Hawaii, like Mark Dice does this, likes to interview people on the streets, if you did street interviews with Hawaiians, I bet they would not know that about her. They probably think she's the child of Japanese Americans that Roosevelt was holding in internment camps in the war. I bet you no one knows anything about this. That's crazy to me. Our number is toll free, 1-888-465-2631. Is she still fighting World War II for the Japanese? 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The cold.
That's crazy.
Hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9
Crazy.
right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Do you think people in... Let me ask you guys in the chat room. Is what I'm saying about that crazy? Do you think the people in Hawaii are familiar with this? What do you guys think? Do you think that's a disqualifier? For her to be in the Senate? I think it's nuts. When my wife showed me that, I was like, what? It is insane. Oh, yeah. She very well could be a patriot for the Emperor of Japan. There's no way the Hawaiian voters know who she is. I got to turn the air down. It's hot.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental.
I think it's crazy.
4633. 954-922-4633.
Women's professional soccer is here.
Introducing the Fort Lauderdale United FC Flex Pack. Tired of being locked into rigid ticket plans?
If you're new, make sure you subscribe to my channel. If you're already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video if you don't mind. Maybe she's not a nutcase. Maybe she's just trying to undermine the United States government.
Fort Lauderdale United FC Flex Pack, brought to you by All Year Cooling. The tickets come as vouchers, allowing use across games however you want.
Get your tickets now at stlutd.com.
Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show.
All right. And, you know, this Senator Hirono, what do you think the tone was like in her house with her father? Who was an Imperial Japanese soldier during the war. I wonder if he killed any Americans. Any of you lose any of your relatives in the Second World War? Grandfathers, great-grandfathers, uncles? I don't know. I mean, think about it. How long ago did the botched Afghan withdrawal happen? Was it 3 years ago, 2 years ago? Let's say there's a child born today, a couple years after the end of the official end of the war in Afghanistan. And their father is an Al-Qaeda fighter who fought against the United States and the coalition forces in the war on terror. And then they come over here to America with their kid, and their kid becomes a senator. Would you vote for that person? A child of an Al-Qaeda fighter that fought against the United States? I don't think so. And that's what Hirono is with the Japanese. Oh, it was a long time ago. Well, she's old as the hill. She was born in 47. Oh, boy. I tell you. Crazy. You know, and the media, Chimacasta, why is the media dying? Because they don't report things. You know, what I just shared with you, no one in the mainstream media would report what I just shared. They would call it bigotry, ethnocentrism, a bunch of other isms other than realism, okay? They wouldn't dare. And if someone brought it up, oh boy, you'd be in trouble if you brought that up live on television. So let me play this clip. Our great President Trump, who is going to be sworn into office in 3 days, 5 hours, 10 minutes, and 15 seconds as of this mark, was on with Dan Bongino yesterday. And, you know, we've got this great FBI director, Kash Patel. His boss will be this great Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And Donald Trump has explained what he's going to get to the bottom of. Listen to this. This is awesome stuff, people. This is awesome stuff.
I believe that is the case. Can we get an answer between you, Pam Bondi, and hopefully Kash Patel on who this person is and have the FBI open the books? Because I believe this is a huge scandal and a massive cover-up.
I think we will, and I think we're going to find out about Ray Epps, and I think we're going to find out about Scaffold Man. You know who Scaffold Man is, right?
Yeah.
The guy who's screaming to everybody, go into the building, go into the building. We're going to find out who Scaffold Man is, and we're going to find out some other things. And I think you're going to be very happy with what I do with respect. I call them the J6 hostages because I consider them hostages. You know, they did a beautiful song, and they asked would I do the words, not the singing, the words. And I did. That song went to #1 for so long. It was beating out Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's right. It was beating Taylor Swift. So that we're going to find out who these people are that were telling people to go towards the buildings. You know, there's some video that's been suppressed. You know, all along the route to the Capitol, Alex Jones was on a bullhorn telling people not to go. You ever see any of that video? Probably not. Some of you probably have. Oh, yeah. He's going to get to the bottom of it. All right. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. It is open phones on Friday, open MAGA Mike Friday. You do not have to talk about anything that I brought up. Although I would like to hear your thoughts on all these things, including this Japanese senator from Hawaii. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jeff from Florida.
Hey.
Quick question. Trump wants to deport all the illegal immigrants, correct? One.
Yes.
Okay. What do you think that will do to the economy?
Open up a lot of opportunities for people to find work. It'll also save a lot of money because we won't have to give them food stamps, pay for their housing. We won't have to pay for their medical care, their childbirths, their MRIs, their x-rays, their surgeries, their prescription medications, their food stamps. So it'll help the economy, and it'll save us tons of money. Why? What do you think it'll do?
So I think it's going on the farms.
On the farms. Oh, so your concern is that, you know, are you a Democrat?
No, I'm an independent.
Oh, please. Independently liberal. Yeah. I mean, come on. You know, independent are like these, I'm going to answer the question in the way that I want to, okay? You know, independents, if you think hey, I'm having a conversation with you too, bud, but, you know, independents like you, they're like these guys that go around and say they're not gay, they're bisexual. Give me a break. Butch up, admit what you are. So what your concern is that you're going to lose a slave workforce that work in the fields. You know, I know the Democrats don't like losing their slaves. They fought a war to stop the Republicans from freeing the slaves in the 1860s. So you're worried about losing a slave labor force, is what you're telling me?
No, the people, are you or your son going to go into the fields and pick the crops that people yeah.
Well, if I have a son, if I have a son that wants to pick crops, my wife's really going to have some strong words for me because I don't, as far as I know and she knows, I don't have a son. I have a daughter. No, I'm not going to become a farm worker.
So who is going to do that job?
Well, most of those jobs, you're an old timer, so you're behind on the tech. Most of those jobs you're talking about are automated now. They have like machines that do the picking of most of the fruits. They don't have like fruit pickers like they did back in the 40s and 50s when you were growing up. But they'll find people. Maybe we'll use legal immigrants with the H-1B visa program. I don't know, but I know this. Illegals won't be raping and killing college students like Lincoln Riley anymore.
have one case.
It's not one case. Listen, I've told this many times. When I was a kid, a friend of mine was robbed and murdered by 2 illegals from Mexico. Okay? People are victimized every day by illegals in this country. Don't worry about your fruit. How much fruit do you eat a day anyway?
Excuse me. Yeah, but don't you think that the prices are too high now in the grocery stores? Just imagine when there's nobody left to do the farm work that pick those fruits and vegetables to come here, that are transported here.
Well, if there's a listen, here's the answer. Okay, when the illegals are deported, well, of course, that's why I host this show. I've got all the answers. That's why you called and asked me the question, because you thought I'd have an answer, right? So here's the answer. Oh, this is what'll happen. Well, this is what'll happen. If after the illegals are deported and there's a shortage of farm workers to pick your fruit, okay, what they'll do is we'll bring in legal immigrants through the H-1B visa program or some other legal immigration program.
They unless they have bachelor degrees.
No, there's legal ways to bring in workers that have non-college degrees. It may not be the H-1B program, but there are ways to bring in legal workers. I said like. There are ways to bring legal immigrants in. I mean, are you concerned who's going to clean your house and mow your lawn too? You Democrats and your slave labor. What about? I know. What? Oh, really? Who'd you vote for?
Actually, I voted for Trump.
Actually, why did you? Then why are you opposed to his primary policy?
His primary policy, because it's going to have an effect. Now, what about his tariffs?
So you voted for him, but you're against everything he's going to do. Oh my! Hey, listen, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. These liberals, they lie to themselves. Now, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. If you're on hold, stand by. Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment is amazing. He's rid me of pain 7 times. Most of it's been from injuries when I've hurt myself. But he's also rid me of arthritis pain in my finger, over 20 years of suffering of knee pain, which was probably arthritis too, I'm not sure. His laser away pain treatment's amazing. And when I was getting all these aches and pains before I met Dr. Appleton, I just thought, well, I'm getting older and that's life, because I remember my grandparents always had aches and pains. Well, my grandparents, they mostly all died in the 80s, and Dr. Appleton and the laser away pain treatment went around in the 80s. If my grandparents were alive today, they'd be over there with Dr. Appleton getting the laser treatment. Pain is not just a part of growing older. Rid yourself of pain without drugs, without shots, with the laser away pain treatment with Dr. Appleton. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of, and I'm hearing about new pains all of the time. In fact, the most recent pain that he rid me of was in the second time I had an injury. I had an injury in both shoulders, and then I had something else happen with my left shoulder, and Dr. Appleton told me I had something called frozen shoulder, which I'd never heard of before. Frozen shoulder. That's what happens when you get older. You get all these things. And he treated me for it, and I am pain-free. 7 times he has rid me of pain, and he can do the same for you. Appointments are not necessary, and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. And the consultations are free. Also, if you have x-rays, MRIs, or scans or something, bring them with you. He'll gladly look over them. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. AppletonCairo.com. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. It is Friday. If you're on hold, hang in there. I give that guy credit for calling and challenging me. I'm sorry you're going to lose your slave workforce, but at least be honest. He votes for Trump, but he's against everything that he's going to do. Come on. Independently Democrat. All right. Our number 1-888-465-2631. I almost gave out a personal number, almost. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. No, that's something different. Frozen shoulder. Frozen shoulder. Not cold shoulder, frozen shoulder. Independents exist, but that guy was not one of them. Welcome. If you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe, guys. I know all these people, this era of obesity and processed foods, they're all eating fruits and vegetables now. These liberals. Most harvesting is automated. They used to, in Florida, when I was a kid, the illegals, they used to call them, I'll tell it on the air.
Don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
I'm not big into fishing. Somebody asked me lake fishing or I don't have the I used to fish when I was a kid. I like freshwater fish when I was a kid, but I don't have the patience to fish. I just can't sit there and wait. I do not have the patience to fish. My wife will tell you, I'd go nuts. If I went fishing today, I'd be freaking out. You know, welcome back. Hour number 2's begun. And I love these liberals. In this era of obesity and processed foods, they all eat fruits and vegetables. They're worried now. You know, when I was a kid here in Florida, there's a lot of illegals in Florida. You know, one of Steve's adopted children, I'm not going to say which one, but one of them was born at a migrant farm here in Florida. The birth mother actually gave birth in one of these barracks along one of the sugarcane fields around Lake Okeechobee. I'm not going to say which one because I don't know if he wants to reveal that. Maybe I revealed too much, but he told that on the air. But anyway, when I was a kid in the 80s and in the 70s here in Florida, you know what they called the illegals? You know what they called the illegals? Not migrants. You know what they called them? Fruit pickers. They were all called fruit pickers because of the oranges and such. And almost all harvesting of fruits and stuff is automated now. There are very few fruit pickers anymore. So don't worry about that. All right, I'm looking at this. Every line on the board is lit. It is open MAGA Mike Friday, open phones on Friday. I'm going to go to the phones right now to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore. I wanted to call you about the great governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. That wonderful speech he gave yesterday. He's really a great governor, and I'm very happy that he has about his appointment, because he could have taken the easy way of staying in politics and appoint himself, but he didn't. And I'm sure that if he ever runs for anything else in that state, that he will win.
No, everybody in Florida that's MAGA hates. We hate our governor. He's a liar and a traitor.
Senator Hiroa, I didn't know that she was Japanese. That's the story that took me off my topic. And I was on assignment in Big Island, Hawaii, and my job at that time was to interview people for one of the government departments that I had an assignment for. The meanest people, the ones who would not cooperate at all, were the Japanese. The Hawaiian people and those with the Polynesian descent made appointments and were so thrilled that someone from the mainland was coming to get their opinions to take back to D.C. They had family members come over. They had food. I had never been treated so well by just strangers as I was treated by the native Hawaiians or the Hawaiians. But the Japanese, oh my God, would not talk to me, would not even make an appointment. And I went to their homes to make appointments. Many of them just looked at you, just like this cold look. No, they were very nasty. But Maybe Hero, I didn't know that about her, but everything you said this morning, I have put it out on X. I asked her about it, and I wanted to know. I think that needs to be big.
And by the way, this is not something that's secret. It's in her Wikipedia bio. If you go and look her up on Wikipedia, so it's but no one's talking about it. It is very relevant. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not anti-immigrant. We are all descendant of immigrants at some point. It's just. But the Japanese army that her father was a member of were like Al Qaeda and ISIS. They were terrible to everyone, including American soldiers.
Called about the fruit pickers. The fruit pickers being migrants. What the heck is the problem? We've got teenagers that are going under. I mean, going under from laziness. And, they don't know how to work. They have no work ethic. It's time to maybe go out and get some of these young people and let them know what it's like to work, because they're lazy as heck.
Yeah.
That was just a thought that I had.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Go and recruit them from the schools. Get some fruit from the schools.
That's a great idea. Bring horticulture back. I took horticulture in high school. Yeah.
Won't have time to go carjacking.
Exactly. And getting abortions. And using the girls' room when they're boys, yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and we don't need, and illegals do not have to be exploited that way. We don't need to ruin our country by bringing in all of these unsavory. A lot of the people come here, I know illegals. I have illegals.
Listen, this thing about the Japanese senator, though, okay? I'm not holding people accountable for their father, okay, typically. However, what kind of mindset was in the home in which she was raised when her father was a defeated Japanese soldier from the Imperial Army of the Second World War? What did she learn about America and the world? What's her worldview? And you look at the way she's behaving, yeah.
We're looking at it.
Correct.
Full display.
That's right.
Disgusting one. And on her X page, she has pinned her interview with Pete Hegseth about his drinking. Oh, I had to respond to her on that, to her issues. But anyway, have a great weekend.
All right, take care. I appreciate the call. You know, and I just want to say, well, let me take some more calls before I say something else. But our numbers, there's one opening where Barbara was at 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Sean in California. Can you hear me loud and clear, bro?
Uh-huh.
Awesome. I wanted to touch on a prior call, but a quick joke. When I hear of Senator Hirono's name, I pronounce it as her. Oh, no.
I like that, yes.
Yeah, but get serious. The prior caller talking about, labor that's undocumented or illegal, what have you. When I was a 20-year-old young man and needed work, I worked for someone who was subcontracted by the VA, not for $20 per lawn, but for $20 for the whole day of lawns that we mowed and kept up because of veterans that were disabled that couldn't, keep the lawns up for that. Homes that were going to be resold or remortgaged. So if you're willing to work, there's a way. And part of this labor issue was unions back in the day did not want foreign labor, but then eventually you'd see the newsletters become bilingual, and then the unions started encouraging these people in while hurting the host population. So, America's woken up. Like when you saw the United Auto Workers, they got behind Trump, even though their figureheads did not.
Yeah.
Folks need to get with the times. If we want to work, we'll get to work. And that issue we have here in California, with either mandatory unions or a minimum wage, that can be examined and that can be adjusted. If I want to work for $5, I should be able to work for $5.
Well, no, listen. There's ways to listen. If there's a labor shortage in a key area, and by the way, agriculture is a national security thing. If there's a labor shortage because we deport all the illegals, there's ways to bring in workers during the season from other countries to work. Okay, that's all part of the process. This is well known. Okay, so and there's no problem with that. That's a legal process. We're not against legal immigration or legal foreign workers. We're against the illegals.
Correct. We're simpatico on that. And let's look back. Johnny Cash, the great singer, was a sharecropper. The book, The Grapes of Wrath, all those people in The Grapes of Wrath that were written about back during the Dust Bowl era that were working in the South and working here on the grape fields, they're Caucasian. It's not about race. It's about, do you want to make money? What will you settle for, and what will your employer, and you negotiate in that.
I bet you they don't even. I bet you that kids don't even read Grapes of Wrath anymore. I bet it's out. I bet it's off the reading list. It's not written by Toni Morrison or something. It's off the reading list.
Good point. Anyway, keep up the good work, Brian. I'm loving the debate, the back and forth, and I'm looking forward to this 20th. America's finally going to get back on track, I hope.
All right, one opening on the board. And of course, all of you are invited to join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, at Wings Plus. We're going to be there Monday to watch President Trump's second and final inauguration. You are all invited. We had an inaugural party for President Trump's first inauguration. It's a great time, and there's nothing like watching the inauguration of our great president with our great MAGA family. You are all invited. The inauguration will be on all the TVs at Wings Plus. And, you hear us talk, they carry all the sports all the time, right? So there's TVs everywhere, big screen, high def, 4K TVs everywhere. There is not a table that I know of in Wings Plus that doesn't have multiple TVs right there for you to watch. And the inauguration will be on all the televisions at Wings Plus. Wings Plus, it's the Sample Road location in Coral Springs, about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. The inauguration is at noon. We look forward to seeing you there. There's plenty of parking. All right, we'll take our break and be back with your calls.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon, one of the DJs here at the Hope you're enjoying the Kane Show with Brian. And we want to remind you that at 10 this morning, the oldies are back. The greatest hits of the 60s and 70s, right here on the True Oldies Channel.
All year we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need a stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR. That's 833-ALL-YEAR.
We'll be back shortly, guys. When's my next laser treatment? The next time I get hurt. You know, he rids me of pain, and then I have another accident. I do something stupid and get hurt, and then I'm back in there.
Contracting has been in the roofing and contracting business since 1988, and his services cover the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. Tom Laporta can handle any type of roofing job too: residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now on his cell phone, 954.
If you're new to the program, guys, make sure you subscribe.
604-4602 and online, LaportaContracting.com.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the...
All right, we are 3 days, 4 hours, and 42 minutes away from President Trump's inauguration. I don't know if you can tell by listening to the program, but I'm pretty excited about it. All right, every line on the board is lit. I am taking these calls to the best of my ability in the order in which they were received. Now, again, it is Open MAGA Mike Friday, meaning open phones. You're welcome to call about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Steve, this is Drew again from Ukraine. I occasionally call your show every once in a while. You know, one of the things that I hear that you continuously make the mistake on, you speak from the disposition of a nationalist instead of being objective. And when you're not objective and you speak from that disposition, then you tend to be blind to the real issues that America is facing. You accuse me continuously of being a liberal. I'm not a liberal. I'm not even anywhere close to a liberal.
Yeah, who cares? Who cares?
You were talking about this guy that called in, or this Lincoln Riley thing. Okay, and for you to
Lincoln Riley, not Lincoln Riley. Remember her name. One of Kamala's dreamers murdered her. He was trying to rape her. She stopped. She defended herself from being raped, and she had to give her life to do it.
Fine, but for you to float the idea that the murder rate amongst immigrants, legal or illegal, are somehow so much higher than the general population is completely ridiculous.
Who cares? Who cares? That's not my fact. All right, slow down. This isn't Ukraine. We have free speech here, and I'm going to exercise it. One, my perspective is not that of a nationalist in some negative way, like you said. It's the perspective of a proud American, number one. But the thing about the murder rate, I don't care what the murder rate of legal immigrants and Americans is versus illegals. They're all criminals. Every illegal is a criminal. They're illegal, so they're all criminals.
Every illegal is a criminal.
Well, yes. If you're here illegally, you've committed a crime. You're a criminal. They're all criminals because they're here illegally. Correct.
Okay, but
oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, what does illegal mean?
You're trying to somehow insinuate that the immigrant population has a much higher crime rate, specifically.
I don't care. Okay, listen. Let me dumb this down for you. Okay. There was a movie with Tom Cruise called Minority Report. Have you ever heard of it or seen it?
I've heard of the movie. I don't watch movies.
Okay. Minority Report. It was based on a story that was written by the author that wrote Blade Runner. Okay, the original novel Blade Runner. And what Minority Report was about, they had these psychics, and they could see crime before it happened. And they had this federal agency called the Bureau of Pre-Crime, and they would run around and stop crimes before they would begin, before they would even happen, because they were psychic. And, you know, when you get rid of the illegals, it's almost like that. These are crimes that and things that should never and would never happen if we were enforcing our immigration laws properly. It's not about what the murder rate is, you know, or the crime rate is. There's a 100% crime rate among illegals, 100%, because they're here illegally. Okay, so they all got to go, and every crime they commit, every girl they rape, every person they murder would be alive if we didn't have traitors allowing over 20 million illegals to invade our country in the last few years.
So basically what you're saying is that you're psychic, and before an immigrant even commits a crime, you just condemn them.
Not an immigrant. No. Not an immigrant. No. The most beautiful first lady in history, Melania Trump, is an immigrant. The great Elon Musk is an immigrant. My mother-in-law is an immigrant, okay, from Canada. She's a U.S. citizen, okay? I'm not talking about immigrants. I'm talking about illegal immigrants.
Okay, and anyway, moving on. One more quick point, and then
moving. Oh, you'll let me go? You'll let me go? No, I'm going to let you go, okay? Since you worded it that way, they're going to let me go. I'm going to let you go. Oh, my gosh. He's going to let me go. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You know, I got to tell you, though, this is a lot of fun. I got hired at a radio station once to do a show in another market. And they had asked me, you know how they ask you these ridiculous questions when you do audio? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know, they ask questions like that. And they said, what would you, you know, how would you like to do a radio show? What would you like to do? And I said, well, what I would like to do is, this is a long time ago, Larry King, remember Larry King? I said, I'd like to do a show like Larry King. Larry King says, New York, you're on the air. Los Angeles, you're on the air. I want to be able to do that. And I get to do that. Ukraine, Florida, Baltimore. I talked to a guy from LA. So it's like, wow, it's like we are nationally syndicated here on this program. It's really kind of cool. Just talk to a guy behind enemy lines in Ukraine. All right, let's go. All right, you're on the air. I liked what he said. Are you saying all the illegals are criminals? Yes, I am. They're illegally here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard Pompano.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, I'm curious about the replacement for Rubio. How many years is left on it that this lady can?
Well, there's I believe there's 4 years. If Marco stayed in the Senate, I believe he would have 4 years left. Because I remember I interviewed him when he was running for re-election. I think that was 2 years ago. I could be wrong though, but it doesn't matter how many years are left. No, she's appointed by Kinky Boots, DeSantis, but she will hold the seat until the midterm elections in 2 years. Then there will be a special election for the U.S. Senate seat during the midterms to finish Marco Rubio's term, which will be 2 more years. But I'll tell you this about Moody, okay? She is 100% MAGA. She has stood by Trump through the worst. So Moody, that was appointed to be the senator by DeSanctimonious, is 100% MAGA. As far as if she's done something I don't know about, I'm open to it. But she is very, very MAGA. DeSantis, that's another story.
On a lighter note, can you look at the window with all this cold weather? How the peacock's doing?
I don't know. The peacocks aren't out yet, but they're still sleeping. They don't come out till the sun comes out. But it's not cold. What are you talking about?
last couple of weeks it got cold.
It has been cold the last couple of weeks. Yeah, yep. All right. Well, it is open phone, so, you know. All right, let's see here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Rob from Knoxville.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, I want to touch on, my dad was in World War II in the bloody island of Palau.
Oh.
And he was in a foxhole with 2 other soldiers that died. And he got half his foot blown off. And they left him. Those Japanese snuck out in the middle of the night. And that's how they would attack, Brian. They would come out and then they would retreat to their foxholes in the, retreat to the caves in the daytime to stay cool. And you got to remember that the boys that were over there, the American soldiers, most of them were Midwestern farm boys like my dad was. And,
well, here's the thing. We're not talking about the Japanese people of today, okay? The Japanese people of today are cool. But the Japanese army of the Second World War were worse than ISIS, okay? No, but a lot of people, well, I want to get your thoughts on this. A lot of people don't know that. They don't teach this anymore. The Bataan Death March. And Hirono, born in Japan in 1947 to a Japanese soldier who fought against the United States in the Second World War, you can see what she's doing. She's still fighting the damn war. Look at how she's behaving in the Senate. Do you think the people of Hawaii that voted for her know her background? I don't think they do.
Heck no, they don't. And you know what? She's been like this for a long time. I don't know how people continue to vote for her. And I do want to say, I never did get to talk to my dad. He passed away 2 weeks before I was born.
Oh, wow.
Accident.
Oh, wow.
My uncles told me that they were sneaking and it was bloody over there, just like Guadalcanal. Palau is kind of shoved over to the side. And it was just, however, that she's an evil, she's not a good lady.
Well, her father was part of the same military force that attacked Hawaii. How can you have someone who was in the same military, I know he was in the Army, not the Navy, but he was under the Emperor. They attacked Hawaii. That's what raised her, and now she's representing Hawaii in the Senate? Something's off here. My guess would be that people know she's Japanese American, but think that her parents and grandparents were in internment camps in the Second World War, not fighting in the Japanese army against the United States. I mean, hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I'll give you the last word. Yeah, it could have been. And you know what? We'll never get the truth, because if he was, she'll never let us know what he did. I remember I had a college professor who was from Germany. And of course, she never missed a moment to tell you that her dad wasn't in the army, he was in the resistance. Really? The German resistance during the Second World War? Give me a break, So she's never going to... Exactly. There was no resistance. There was like one person, Sophie Scholl, that they cut her head off, okay, at the University of Munich. But, all the Nazis will tell you, all the Germans will tell you that their parents weren't in the army. They had a 100% draft. Of course they were in the army. So Hirono's never going to tell the story about her Japanese imperial soldier daddy, but we're going to tell. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
This Friday morning, there's going to be a small chance of showers, and we have a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, there's going to be a low of 68 degrees and a chance of showers and windy. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be a high of 78.
The Bataan Death March. Look it up.
Do you know about Unit 731? So that's just really as bad what Japan did as well. they were doing experiments, like the Nazis were doing.
Yeah.
They were doing experiments with chemical warfare. They were doing experiments with, like, they would literally use their prisoners of war that they fought, and, to, like, put them on the field, tie them to, like, a stick of sort.
Yeah.
And, like, throw, like, chemicals at them. And just see how it would do to the bodies of, like, alive people.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. And they have videos of it. They have Unit 731 is what it's called.
Yeah.
That's another thing the Japanese did that was war crimes ridden and.
Oh yeah.
And they hide that from their history.
Of course.
They don't talk about it. They don't. So people like to think the Germans were. I mean, Germans obviously were way worse with the Holocaust.
Oh.
But the Japanese did that too.
Yeah.
And that in both of those situations, they were horrible people.
Oh yeah. It's not like the Japanese of today.
Yeah, no. I mean, I still love how the atomic bombs and anime are connected. You know,
yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite connections of how it changed the culture.
Yeah.
You heard that you have to live with it. Well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment. There's no injections. There's no medication. There's no surgery. There's none of that. It's strictly either the laser, the acupuncture I do, or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Donna from Jupiter. I'm calling to share my great experience with Jupiter Joe. My husband and I started listening to you a few years ago, and that's when we learned about Jupiter Joe Thomas. We're seniors with no pension and collect Social Security. All our investments were in stocks and IRAs until we heard about Jupiter Joe. Speaking of having your money work for you. So we got in touch with him, and he went above and beyond trying to locate all our diversifications. He answered all our questions clearly and returned every phone call. He recommended an annuity that enabled us to get a safe monthly income for life. So I just want to tell everyone, if you're in need of additional income, especially with the high cost of everything these days, please call Joe Thomas. It's no cost to you. He is so professional, knowledgeable, trustworthy, and you can put total confidence in him. My husband and I can't say enough good things about Jupiter Joe and his staff.
I want to thank you for your kind words for Jupiter Joe Thomas. If you want to call Joe Thomas, I'm going to give you his number. It's a no-charge consultation, which you can take advantage of no matter where you're located. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com.
The fake news tried to tear down Mike Lindell and MyPillow, but Mike Lindell stood strong, just like President Trump. This is Brian Craig. It's time to celebrate President Trump's historic victory with MyPillow's Price Buster deals. Save with our promo code Kane at checkout. I sleep on a MyPillow mattress every night, and you can choose from top-rated mattresses, including the revolutionary MyPillow foam mattress with 5 comfort layers for the best sleep ever, and the 2-sided encased quilted mattress. It's built for unbeatable comfort and delivered right to your door. The MyPillow mattresses come with a 10-year warranty, a 6-month money-back guarantee, and they're made right here in the United States. There's never been a better time to upgrade your sleep. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout for huge savings. Celebrate Trump's win and sleep like a patriot.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 48 years on the air.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. Just recapping, it is open phone, so you can talk about whatever you want today when you call in. But I was talking about this nasty Democrat senator from Hawaii, Hirono. And I found out yesterday, my wife found out and told me, I was in shock that she was born in Japan in 1947. Her dad was in the Japanese Imperial Army and fought against the United States Army. And I was like, what? Do you think the people of Hawaii know this? I don't think they do. And the Japanese of today, now I'll tell you, I'm not talking about the Japanese of today. I'm talking about the Japanese that she was raised by and that she's one of. By the way, there's a good Japanese movie. Came out about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Have you seen this one, Mike? Godzilla -1? Oh, man. You guys like Godzilla movies? Godzilla, let me tell you, she was raised by this Japanese dad that fought against the United States. My goodness. It's like having the child of Al-Qaeda be in the Senate. Godzilla, you know who created Godzilla in the Godzilla movies? I'm not talking about the movies, but in the movies, do you know what Godzilla came from? The United States. When we dropped the bombs on Japan, that created Godzilla. But anyway, Godzilla -1 is the best Godzilla movie I've ever seen since the original. And it's about a guy who, he's a Japanese soldier coming back to Japan after they lost the war, just like the senator's dad did. And Godzilla attacks Hawaii right after the war ended, and it's in ruins from all the bombings. It's really good. It's really good. It's a Japanese movie. It's called Godzilla -1. It's on all the streaming things. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
I want to thank you and your wife for bringing that out, man. I was wondering why she was still in power, and apparently the Japanese have a lot of influence, like most of the hotels are supposed to be owned by Japanese. So I guess they're funding her campaign, and when you have the money, you can get in. So,
well, what I'm telling you is Hirono is still fighting the Second World War against us, is what I'm telling you. She is the last surviving Japanese soldier. I'm serious. You think I'm kidding? I don't think what I'm saying is a stretch.
no, man, it's not. Without a doubt, she is sick in the head. That woman. I've never, the worst. Adam Schiff and her. They're tied for how miserable they are. But anyway.
Well, no. Listen. If let me ask you this: 75 years from now, if New York had a senator who was barking at good American war heroes, no wonder she doesn't like American Army war heroes like Pete Hegseth, right? Because her father lost to American Army heroes like Pete Hegseth. But 75 years from now, really even less, because we're over 20 years since New York was attacked on 9/11. But say in 60 years, 50 years, 60 years from now, 50 would be more accurate. There's a U.S. senator elected from New York. You find out they were born in Afghanistan 2 years after the fall of Afghanistan, and their daddy was Al-Qaeda. Do you think people would bring it up, and do you think it'd be relevant?
For sure.
Yeah! Exactly!
This woman doesn't belong in Congress, but this is what we have, man. We got to fund somebody against her, and we'll get her out. Trump is running the Republican Party. Let him fund.
Well, and listen. I know it seems like I want to seriously speak about this. Okay, her father. Okay, because I did a little reading about her background. Her father was a hardcore alcoholic and had a major gambling issue and things, and mistreated her mother, and everything. Because that was a big problem, because these soldiers, they just lost, they came back, the country was bombed, and her childhood was a wreck because of her father, and her father had the experience that many soldiers had in Japan and in Germany when they lost the war to us. So here we have a U.S. Army major, combat infantryman, who's led American soldiers to victory on the fields of battle. His name's Pete Hegseth. Shocker that the daughter of an Imperial Japanese Army soldier that lost to the United States Army hates him like the plague, and is and is saying these terrible things to him. And she's also projecting her daddy issues on the Pete Hegseth because her dad was an alcoholic. Well, you vowed never to have a sip of the sake or whatever she was saying to him. And I'm telling you, she hates the U.S. Army. She should not be on that committee. She hates the Army. The Army destroyed her family because that Army defeated her father. And there's nothing you could convince me that's not affecting her in the way she's behaving.
Certainly, she shouldn't be on that committee. I don't think the fellow senators know her history like you know.
What the hell? I mean, should we really have? I wonder if Pete Hegseth and these other senators know about this. You know, should we really have a U.S. Army war hero like Pete Hegseth be judged by a child of a defeated soldier of the U.S. Army? I don't think so.
She forgave and forgot. No, she did not. She is certainly, like you're saying, she's twisted. Thoughts are twisted.
I mean, Pete Hegseth will run the Pentagon, right? The Pentagon is where the military was run that defeated her father in the Second World War. You know, I mean, if you went back in time to 1945 and we said to you in 1945, you know, in 2025, this girl that was just born to this imperial Japanese soldier that just lost the war, you know, she's going to be in the United States Senate, and she's going to be part of the team that picks who the next Secretary of Defense is to run. Now, back then they had Secretary of War, but who's going to run the Pentagon? You would say, there's no way. You're crazy. We'll never have a Jap do something. Well, here we are.
The things that come out that we don't know about, and then we find out, is like, wow, I can't believe it that somebody was elected, but they did. I mean, they got the memorial there in Hawaii, and she's running for the.
Well, I don't think the people of Hawaii know this. There's no way the people of Hawaii know this. No way.
I believe. I think if they get it and bring all it. I think that'd be all
right. Well, I'm sure we're going to see you at Wings Plus on Monday.
Give you a call on Monday.
Okay, good. Well, you can let me know now. Yeah. So yeah, when you come to our events, you get to meet some of the regular callers like Doug show up, and Doug is built. He's got muscles. I'm a lot nicer to Doug on the phone since I met him a couple times. But come join Steve and I at Wings Plus Monday at noon. We'll be watching the inauguration. You are all invited. Wings Plus at the Sample Road location is about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. That's Monday during the inauguration. We'll be watching it with you. We'll be right back. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. What do you have for us today, Barry?
Well, we were looking through the Google and looking, and we saw Siegel Law Group. We're currently at 333 Google reviews at 5 stars, and then something came up that I thought was interesting. You know how nowadays you get these AI overview summaries of things? So there's an AI summary that came up, so I'd like to read that real quick. It says, according to available reviews, the Siegel Law Group in Florida generally receives positive feedback with clients, praising their professionalism, thoroughness, and attentiveness in handling estate planning matters, particularly highlighting their ability to put clients at ease with complex legal issues and providing personalized plans to suit individual needs. Many recommended them for wills, trusts, and Medicaid planning. So that was kind of a synopsis of those many reviews. So we're very proud of that because that's showing feedback from clients that we've already served and have been happy with us. So
absolutely. And, you know, you've been with us for many, many years now at the Siegel Law Group, and I have heard nothing but positive reviews from our listeners over the years. I've never heard one negative utterance from a single listener about you and the Siegel Law Group. In fact, I tell you all the time, they all have the same feeling. They're not just happy and all that. They feel a relief. A weight has been lifted off of their shoulders. Every single client, that's how they all feel. Like everything is okay and they feel great. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. Now, when you call, mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, because then you could take advantage of the no-charge consultation. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, have a great weekend. We'll talk next week. All right, take care. We are back. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. Back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Gil from Waxahachie.
Hey, Gil, what's up?
Hey, Brian, I wanted to expand on the agriculture pipper situation. I went through the College of Agriculture at the University of Florida and stayed and went to graduate school in nutrition. And afterwards, I had a computer business for agriculture. I had 2 installations in Plant City, Florida. And the same guy had a strawberry operation right next to his citrus operation. And strawberries you pick from about daylight till about 10. When it gets hot, you can't pick them because they decompose too quick. But it was during canker, and you couldn't pick oranges until the dew dried after 10. So back then, agriculture workers had to have an A9 number, and so I was sorting my payroll in these 2 installations, and that same A9 number popped up, and I said, man, I must have a computer error. Well, I started looking at it. So this one guy was picking citrus or strawberries in the morning, and then in the afternoon picking citrus. And I wanted to write a book 35 years ago called The Silent Invasion, because he was making about $800 a week. And
when? And when was this? And what year was this? $800 a week?
Probably 86 and 87.
Oh, that's like $2,000 a week today.
I couldn't believe it. So what he would do, and this payroll program I had that I wrote with a friend of mine would make a statement of earnings besides printing a check for him. So he would pick like that $800 a week till the last week of the quarter, and he would lay off that last week, get a small check, then he'd go down to get his housing allowance.
Oh, with his most recent pay stub. He had to show the most recent pay stub.
Oh my God! And I'm like, hey,
what a racket!
How many times is this happening in the United States?
Now let me ask you this question, and give me a capsulized answer, okay? Because if I get into a long thing about this, Steve will kill me. He'll come up here and take me off the air. But you have a background in Florida agriculture, and I have wondered this question, and I've never gotten an answer to it. Why do I not see orange groves off the side of the turnpike in 95 anymore like I used to? When I was a kid, I used to see orange groves everywhere. Are Florida oranges even in Florida anymore? What's up with that?
We have a lot of orange groves, but we did have some massive freezes, and that completely changed the industry. But can I say one other thing?
Oh, okay. So, but we still have them all over Florida? The Florida oranges are still all over the state? Because I don't see them like I used to.
Yeah. We'll take a trip. A lot of them move down towards Immokalee in South Florida, and
okay,
a little bit further, a little further to the east of what your normal theater rougher, most likely.
Oh, okay.
The one other thing that I told my friends about our illegal immigration and the guy that alluded to losing our pickers. I don't have anything against people picking, but what we ought to do is have them go through the TSA at the airport so they have something valid to do. Hand each one of them $10,000 and say, look, stay till the crop's done and then go back to Mexico. And we'd be saving so much money by paying them in advance instead of getting them here on our welfare systems and paying everything that you just described, free babies, free everything else, paying for their kids because they can't speak English, paying for their kids' education and all the other things.
Yeah.
So far ahead to have some kind of let them in to pick and then make them...
Yeah. They used to do that. All right. Hey, listen, great call. Thanks so much. You gave us some good information. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lisa in Tennessee.
Hey, Lisa.
And listen, we're talking about, the guy found on Japan in 1972. And like I said, my first husband's family, he was just a kid in school when they lived there, and his dad was in the Navy. That did happen, as well as I got to see, when I lived there later, I got to see books, photograph books that one of the guys brought into where I worked at an insurance adjusters of when the Japanese took over and then the Americans took.
Well, no, this is I am serious as a heart attack with this Senator Hirono. I mean, she's been very vile this week, wouldn't you say? Okay, so let me recap for people that have missed what we're talking about so you have context. Hirono, not only is she been nasty, she was particularly nasty to Pete Hegseth and wanted him to take a vow of not drinking anything. My wife found this out yesterday and shared it. Hirono she was born in Japan in 1947. She's an old lady. She was born in Japan in 1947, and her father was in the Imperial Japanese Army and fought against the United States in the Second World War. He was a serious hardcore alcoholic, like many defeated soldiers of the enemy nations were at the end of the war, right? Arnold Schwarzenegger's talked about that with his dad, that his dad was a drunk and abusive because he was in Arnold Schwarzenegger's dad was a Nazi, and he was in the German army. That's why you never see Arnold Schwarzenegger the way he looks with his accent in the World War II movies playing Nazis, because he's the son of one. It's too close to home. So anyway, Hirono, her family life was destroyed by the United States Army from her viewpoint, and I'm here to tell you that because of her life experience, she's got some issues with the United States Army and U.S. Army officers that are heroes of the American Army, like Pete Hegseth, and I'm of the opinion that to have someone born 2 years after the war in Japan and is the daughter of an Imperial Japanese Army, and you got to remember those soldiers were cutting Americans' heads off, Bataan Death March, is like having someone who was the daughter of an Al-Qaeda soldier in the United States Senate. It's inappropriate. She has no business passing judgment on the U.S. Army, and I'm here to tell you, maybe even at a subconscious level, she's still fighting the war for the Japs against us there, against Pete Hegseth. She should not have any say or any judgment on who runs the Pentagon. I don't know. Am I nuts here or what?
No, I totally agree. And what people don't realize too, like, that guy talking about, illegal aliens haven't done anything wrong. You pointed out the fact they're here illegally, number one. That's breaking the law.
Well, did you hear that idiot? He says, are you saying that all the illegals are criminals? Yes, they're illegal. You even said it. What an idiot. The Ukrainian guy.
Oh, true. And guess what? If you're in Japan, and I know this for fact, because we had people stationed there, friends of ours stationed in Atsugi, Japan, and Kadena Air Force Base in Okinawa. And if you, like, for example, one of our friends got in a car wreck in Japan, and it was not his fault. But the Japanese court said, it is your fault because you're an American, you're not a native, and you're here with the military, and otherwise you wouldn't be here. And he was there legally, right? And he still, it was not his fault because he shouldn't be there, right?
Well, we still occupy Japan, and they don't like it. And I'm here to tell you, I would bet, I don't gamble, but if I did, I'd bet a lot of money. But I bet you that the people of Hawaii don't know her background, that she's, like, her dad was the Japanese Army and all this stuff. They think she's just a regular Japanese American, like, I don't know, like George Takei or something. I don't think they have any idea about her background. And there's no way that doesn't affect her opinion and attitude towards Pete Hegseth, who is a U.S. Army hero. I mean, he's like Captain America and John Wayne, Pete Hegseth. Come on.
Oh, totally. And she's just so vile. I mean, anytime she's ever on there, she's always just horrible. And people need to realize how important it is for us to have our border back in place and keep the people from coming in that aren't supposed
That's right.
here. That's what.
Do you think there's any American immigrants who are the children of American soldiers in the Japanese parliament passing judgment on who gets minister positions in Japan? I don't think so.
No, they have very strict immigration laws.
They're racist. There's a girl that I was watching. This girl, she's an American girl who lives in Japan. And she speaks fluent Japanese and English, and she's a YouTuber. And she did a YouTube video on why Japanese people won't sit next to foreigners, on the subway. And she did extensive research about this, and they are racist. They don't like Caucasians at all. And she's liberal, and she came to this conclusion. And it's not a diverse country. It's like 99% Japanese. It's not diverse like here. And that's what she was raised in. She's a racist. She doesn't like America. She doesn't like our army. She doesn't like Caucasians, and she's a vile person. And this thing about her and her family history, I think, is very relevant when she's passing judgment on an American Army hero like Pete Hegseth, who's going to lead the army and military that defeated her dad's army.
Oh, truly. And the other thing I wanted to say was about the picture. The first thing I thought when I got up and started watching the show and saw that picture was, well, that looks like his mugshot.
Oh, yeah. What I started with, it's President Trump released yesterday the official portrait of his for the inauguration, and it's a reenactment of his mugshot. Absolutely. Yeah, he's making a bold statement. Yeah, it's pretty big. It's a big deal. I mean, he's been a political prisoner. If he would not have won, he'd be in prison today by Judge Mershon. Mershon would have put him in prison.
Well, I think we all realize that even though it was horrible when he lost in 2020, there was, and now all this stuff has come to light. Everything being done in the dark has been.
That's right. Listen, I got to run, but you're right. You're right on the money. All right, now I want to talk about Jupiter. I'm wearing a brand new MAGA hat today. It's a dark MAGA hat. It's like Elon wears. It's a Make America Great Again hat, but it's black and it's dark MAGA. And Joe Thomas gave this hat to me for Christmas. He and his daughter, they gave me this hat for Christmas last time Joe was here. This is a nice, first time I've worn it. It's a very nice hat. So thanks, Jupiter Joe Thomas. You heard one of our listeners that called me the other day and is in a new recorded commercial that we're running. We turned that call into. I told you when I was talking to her, there's going to be the new Joe Thomas commercial, and she was talking about how her and her husband are retired on Social Security. She met with Joe Thomas, took advantage of that no-charge consultation, and he put together a custom portfolio, a custom proposal for them, and now they have another income stream coming in to supplement their Social Security. That's what it's all about. I learned long ago that if you want to know how to do something or be successful at something, find someone who is successful and find out what they did to do it and do what they do. And from people that are financially successful that I've known, wealthy people that are financially secure, they all have different stories and everything, but mainly it's have at least a minimum of 3 income streams. A minimum. You want more than that if you can. But if you talk to successful people, a minimum of 3 income streams. That's where annuities come in. And you want to call and take advantage of this free consultation with Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas is a 5-time qualifying member of the $1 Million Roundtable, which is achieved by fewer than 1% of all financial advisors in the world. So he's a top man in the business, and he's offering you a free consultation. Give him a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. If you missed the number, just go to his website. You'll find it there, jupiterjoe.com. All right, 2 hours down, 1 to go. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be back right after our top of the hour break. If you're on hold, hang in there. Are you there, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have anywhere you wanted to go, or?
No,
Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay, hold on. Yeah, this is a good one that Joe gave me. Never surrender. Got Trump on the back. This is a nice MAGA hat. Ooh.
Don't waste hours and hours waiting at the doctor's office or one of those big labs. With a mini lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. Their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest you'll find anywhere. No appointment, doctor's order, or prescription is needed. And you're in and out in 15 minutes or less. They offer every lab and blood work your doctor could order. They even have drug testing and STD testing. Take control of your health care and visit any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab test nows around. These are the only two advertising on our radio station, so don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs. And make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business for 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is
Freezing. I turned the air down too low. It's freezing.
1977. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian.
All right, the third hour has begun. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. I'm great. You know, the countdown has begun. We are 3 days, 3 hours, 56 minutes, and 20 seconds away from the inauguration of President Trump on Monday at noon. And, of course, we're going to be at Wings Plus, and we're, Steve and I, and we are and we are inviting everyone in this listening audience, except Lurch, if you're still around. Everyone but Lurch, you are all invited to Wings Plus. And, you know, this is the Sample Road location in Coral Springs. There's 2 Wings Pluses in Coral Springs. We're going to be at the one we always do our appearances at, which is the Sample Road location, which is about 1 mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road in Coral Springs. If you're coming from, you know, far away, you could take either the Turnpike 95 or the Sawgrass Expressway to Sample Road. All right, so, and we'll be there. The inauguration will be on all the televisions, and it's a sports restaurant. So all those TVs are going to have the inauguration on, and there is not a table that does not have views of multiple 4K high-definition televisions, and the inauguration will be on all of them.
At every one of those tables, they serve that spectacular food that we talk about.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. And, you know, we went there and we had a inaugural ball party at Wings Plus for Trump's first inauguration. It was a great time. We're doing it over again. You are invited. And Steve and I do not do very many appearances. I mean, we have our cruise. But, you know, that's once a year. I don't remember we did an appearance quite some time ago at Wings Plus. We do not do them very often. And this is a special occasion. And also, you know, a lot of the regular regular callers that you hear on the program, they do show up at these things. So you'll get to put a face to some of the freaks and geeks and people that call us from time to time. All right, well, do you want to go to the phones? There's a lot going on. Okay, all right. Okay, now it is open phones on Friday, open MAGA mic Friday, so anything and everything on your mind is fair game on Friday's show. The other 4 days of the week, we try to herd you in to talk about the topics that we bring up, but Friday, the show prep is up to you guys. However, I would like you to continue to hear your thoughts in the audience on my theory on this Hawaiian senator that no one's talking about that I think are very relevant. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning to both of you, Steve and
Hey,
you.
Richie, how are you?
I'm fine. I want to bring something up. The last couple of days of this moron that's in the White House, this brain dead person.
Which one, Kamala or Joe? Because they're
Kamala, but I don't even think she was running the country. This might be addressed to Joe Biden. What people don't realize, this can't happen fast enough. As we speak, this guy is, I was watching, I forgot who it was. This guy is deliberately draining the money, giving it all out to his donors, which is setting up Trump up for failure with the GDP, the first quarterly thing when they're going to show the economy. He's going to take credit for this economy the way it is now, and then it's going to take a tremendous... Yeah, and then it's going to take a tremendous drop. When the next numbers that come out, which will be under President Trump, is his draining of the money, and he's going to try and make Trump look terrible.
Richie, Richie, don't worry, because after Monday, we're not going to be hearing about Joe anymore too much. And listen. He has been stealing money from the U.S. Treasury since Nixon was in the White House. This is the thief's last cash grab. We just got to. We got to ride it out. But, President Trump is going to announce the Secret Service director is going to be that Secret Service man that was by his side and saved his life when that never-Trumper shot him in Butler, who's been by, the one that's in all the photographs from the fight. That's the new Secret Service director. I wonder if he's good. Oh, man.
Well, but I wanted Dan Bongino because I thought Dan Bongino, with his expertise, actually, with the position that he had, he used to go out ahead of all the presidential, overseas deals, and he used to check out and make sure security was right. I thought Dan Bongino would have been.
Jan Bongino was not going to walk away from his national radio show and all that stuff. I told you, it's too much money to walk away from for that government job.
I get what you're saying. But I also think that they would have got on President Trump, said, "Here goes another guy off of television." So I thought that handicapped that decision.
Well, the guy that he picked, though, he's in every picture. I mean, he's the most. He's going to be in the history books, and he'll know what to do. And when that never-Trumper shot President Trump in Butler, he was right there covering Trump's body, willing to take another bullet if it came for the president. So he picked the right guy. I hope he fires those fat women that couldn't find their holster.
The other thing I have a problem with, okay, I'm watching these hearings. The Democrats' main deal with President Trump is, who are they going to pardon? Meanwhile, on the January 6th people, that a lot of them that were just after trespassing, that have been railroaded and held in terrible conditions for basically going in there and looking at pictures. I'm not talking about the violent ones, and who the hell knows who those were. But I'm talking about they're so worried about the January 6th people, President Trump pardoning on the first day. Look at who he's going to pardon. I'm more concerned about who this idiot in the White House is going to pardon. I mean, to me, they say it's going to be Cheney and all these corrupt people. This, to me, is the most outrageous thing that this guy's going to let all these people that try to railroad President Trump for the last 10 years probably walk free. And they're all nasty and guilty. And to me, this is even, I'm not even talking about Hunter Biden. I'm talking about Cheney and the rest of them. These people, Adam Schiff, all these people, the guy, Benny, whatever his name is on that commission, all these people that try to railroad President Trump should be going down. And I don't care about you going against your political opponents. People out there ought to realize they tried to wreck this man financially, put him in prison for the rest of his life, take his business away from him and his family.
Can I ask you a question? How do you think
Yes.
this thing is going to play? How is this going to play out with what's going on now with in Israel?
I brought that up yesterday. This is a deal. This is not President Trump's deal. This is another Biden cutting the legs out underneath Netanyahu and President Trump. President Trump's threat that all hell is going to break loose is what brought this on us. But he didn't negotiate this thing, right? I mean, this thing wasn't negotiated by President Trump. This is a Biden thing. This is giving everything to Hamas and basically a handful of hostages and a lot of them are not going to be alive. And this, to me, this is an outrage.
Well, first of all, no. Listen. Netanyahu and his cabinet are going to approve this deal, but President Trump said he wanted all the hostages released, not 34 or however many. So this is not the final deal.
Not for Israel.
All right, one of the first things he's going to do is cut off the Iran money, which is cutting off the Hamas money, and they're going to lose their ability to wage war. They're going to be begging Trump to take the hostages back. Hey, Richie, I appreciate the call. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, good morning, Brian. Frank from New York.
Frank from New York. What's up?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick help for this immigration BS this Lib is talking about. Tell him for his tomatoes and his fruits, whatever he's talking about, worry about who's going to pick them up. Tell him, look at your neighbors, how they pick them up, how Europeans pick them up, and how Canadians pick them up, right? Because they have a system. They have a system in immigration works. I'm talking about as an immigrant right here, right?
Yeah, you're from New York, but this is not a New York accent. Where's your accent from?
Albania.
Albania. How'd you get here? Did you jump the border illegally from Mexico?
No, tell this Lib, it took 11 years.
11 years?
Just me and my wife took 11 years to get the papers, right? 11
Wow.
years. I'm 23 years immigrant in here in New York. That Lib in Florida, tell him which immigrant you want to pick. The one killed the girl, the one who raped, the one who steal your car, or you want the new ones now in California. They'll come and torch your house.
Or set you on fire on the subway. Yeah.
Wait, yes, we never seen that. It's a bullshit.
Okay, all right. Oh, English is not his first language. Well, but he knows all the words. Oh my God! Who was it? Speaking of Albanians, years ago, who were the Albanians at war with in Europe around Yugoslavia? Remember we had them in studio. We had an Albanian in studio. There was another country. There was another group that was fighting the Albanians, and we had an Albanian in studio with a guy from that other group. And they started like getting into a physical fight on the air. Who were they? Does anybody remember? It might have been in the 90s, early 2000s. The Albanians, there was some ethnic cleansing going on. This was during the days of the Bosnian conflict. I can't remember who it was. And I had this great idea that you thought was great too. Why don't we bring an Albanian in with a guy from this other ethnic group? And it was scary. Scary. It was like we were there. They were like going to kill each other. It was fun. The show was good to listen to, but I can't remember what the ethnicity was of the other guy. If anybody knows, remind me. Okay. Steve, I want to tell everyone about the My Pillow, My Cross. Mike Lindell is very, very famous for wearing that cross that he wears, right? And you see it on him everywhere. And he is now offering that same cross. You can buy it at a huge discount with our promo code Kane at checkout. Now, there's two versions, one for men and one for women. The one and the women can wear the male version, by the way. The male version is the exact same one that Mike Lindell wears. The female version is a little smaller. They both come with the necklace. And with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, they are $50 off each. They are not sold as a set. They're sold separately. So if you buy both, you get $100 off and free shipping. So go to MyPillow.com. Get your Mike Lindell. They call it the My Cross. I call it the Mike Lindell My Pillow Cross. But if you go to MyPillow.com, it's right there on the front page of the website, the Mike Lindell My Cross. $50 off each one of them with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane at MyPillow.com, and free shipping because there's free shipping on all orders over $75. You can also order by phone, toll free 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. If you're on hold, stand by. It's a Steve Kane Show. Steve's here. I'm Brian. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Hey, it's Scott Shannon, one of the DJs here at the True Oldies channel.
So, you know how every now and then I sleep in.
Yeah.
Like how, so I keep changing my alarms. I keep rotating, changing alarms like every time that happens because I'm like, why am I sleeping through my alarms? I just saw this post, which I'm like, that's why. It's not me. That's why. iPhone alarm glitch leaves Apple users late for work trying to explain this to my boss, and it sounds like I'm lying.
Yeah.
The alarms actually aren't going off. Sometimes they do, sometimes they
Oh,
don't.
really?
So when your alarms go off, sometimes they do, but then when they don't, it'll tell you it went off, but it doesn't actually go off. And I look at the comments, everyone's saying the same thing.
Oh, really?
And
I'll
I'm
test it out.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah, I always wake up before the alarm, so I turn it off. I don't hear it go off much. I always turn it off before it goes off.
I try to think that too. I think like, oh, like I woke up, saw I had some time, because I have
Yeah.
like 20 alarms. So like I always think I wake up, turn it off, because I'm like, oh, I got like another 20, 30
Yeah.
minutes. It's not that. I don't hear it because it's not going off.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew it.
It
knew
can
it, 'cause
happen.
I'm like, I was like, I hear them when it does go off. I hear them. So when I wake
Yeah.
up and I see all the alarms going off, it's like, how did I not hear that? I have 80 alarms because it's not going off.
Yeah, exactly. You can have, I'm going to test mine out this weekend. I'll test it out.
Because Apple even acknowledged that, oh yeah, like there's a glitch going on, and
Yeah.
we're working on it. Yeah, when? This is the same Apple, but that doesn't let you, that slowly, slows down your phone when you have an old phone.
Exactly.
You know? So I don't believe they actually.
You can't believe anything they say.
Yeah. They'll tell you that just all the comments say the same thing. I'm like, I'm so happy it's not me. I thought it was me. I thought I was just getting. I had to keep changing different like alarm sounds because I thought I was getting comfortable.
Yeah.
No.
The Republic of the Philippines, welcome. The Philippines should rejoin the United States. We should have kept the Philippines. Don't you think we should have kept the Philippines?
Beaches on 90. The Treasure Coast on 109 FM. Hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM. Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM.
All right. We are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. You know, did you see Michelle Obama is not going to be at the inauguration?
She had a mad on last night. I've never seen such
A what?
She was in a rage.
Oh, I know why. I'll tell you why she's in a rage in a moment. But I think maybe she's not at the inauguration because, she's too tall. She blocks people's view. I said something on the show months ago that is now being widely reported. And this is why Michelle's not going to the inauguration and is pissed off. And I told you guys this like 6 months ago. And people said, you're laughing, who cares? And it was the lead story in the Daily Mail this morning, but it's all over the place. That Barack Obama's been having an affair with Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston, the actress from Friends, that Barack Obama's been having an affair with her, that they're a couple, and they've been together for a long time. And the reason she's so ticked off, Michelle, is not because it's going on. She's known about it, but everybody knows now because it's being reported everywhere that Barack Obama has been dating Jennifer Aniston for a long time. So it's not only that she's being cheated on, she's being cheated on with a white woman on top of it. So it's like double salt in the wound. And the fact that everybody knows about it, that's what has people freaked out. That's what has her freaked out.
All the characters on the wrong side of this. I must say, Michelle comes off the worst. She comes off as a petulant, spoiled, vicious.
Yes. I don't want to have to dump you. Okay. You're not supposed to. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. Okay, our number 1-888-465-2631. It's like with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Hillary wasn't mad that he was having an affair. She knew he had affairs. It's that everybody knew he was having an affair that upset Hillary, okay? And that's what's upset Michelle Obama, is that that has become public and is being reported in mainstream outlets that Barack's been dating Jennifer Aniston for a long time. And, I tell you, I don't know.
Didn't we come to the conclusion that Barack is gay?
I think he goes every which way. He's remember I call that trisexual. He'll try with anybody. Yeah, he'll try with anybody that does it with him. Trisexual. No, but I don't know. But I know that it's the lead story in the Daily Mail this morning, and it's being reported elsewhere.
Seeing such a sorry bunch of creeps as what's left of the Democratic Party.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, well, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Frank from Boca.
Yeah, Frank.
Okay, I believe that the caller that had the argument with the guy from Albania was probably a Serbian.
Yes, it was a Serbian and an Albanian. That's correct. You are correct.
Yeah, in World War II, Italy and Mussolini invaded Albania, and Serbia was a part of Yugoslavia, and that means the Southern Slavs, so they were sympathetic to Russia, and the Albanians did nothing to help out the Serbians and the people of Yugoslavia at that time.
Yeah.
So they're still animosity.
No, you're right. It was a Serbian and an Albanian, and there was a conflict going on, and they were really mad at. I mean, it was scary. We had to end that show. It was that bad. It was like knockout, drag out. See, if it was a long time ago. This is when it was a long time ago. It's when we first went to AM 1470 when that show happened. It was it goes way. I remember everything. I do. I couldn't remember Serbian, but I remember the thing. You're right. All right, appreciate the call. Yeah, I went to the Daily Mail right now. It's the lead story. Wild rumors about Jennifer Aniston. Stark admissions it's not always been plain sailing, and now Michelle is skipping Trump's inauguration. So what's going on with the Obama's marriage? They have photographs of Michelle looking really ugly and bad and sad, and then they have all these pictures of Jennifer Aniston looking hot and sexy. And there's about a 3,000-word story about their affair. And this is being reported all over the place. Now, I've known about this for months, okay? But it's now made the mainstream press. And the fact that everybody knows about it, that's what has Michelle upset. There's no It's there's no getting around it. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Detroit, Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Yeah. How's that Matt Gates confirmation hearing going?
It's going great. He's got a primetime show on One America News, and because Matt Gaetz is a household name, One America News has some star power, and they'll very likely come back to prominence. So things are going well.
Oh, I thought he was doing on OnlyFans page now. You know?
No, OnlyFans. No, that's where you spend all your money.
That's where Melania's been at lately, doing all those naked pictures.
Oh, there we go. All right, we had to use the dump button again. I'll tell you after the show. Oh my goodness! Oh, you missed it. Luckily I didn't. The dump button. You know, when this is so true. The arthritis that I had on my finger is the finger that I use for the dump button. And the Steve Kane Show is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. That's a fact. I believe it's the longest running radio show in the state, not just the state of Florida, but in all 50 states. I think this is the longest running radio show with the same host in America. But I know for a fact we're the longest running radio show in Florida. But I also think we hold the record for having to use the dump button for profanity of any other radio show. It's just the way it is. You know, I mean, that's Democrats for you. And every studio that I've ever had, the dump button has been on my right. Every studio. In fact, I've even asked them to, there was a couple times where I've asked them to move the dump button to my right. And the dump button is the finger that Dr. Appleton had to treat me for arthritis in. So you liberal chronics with your profanities, you gave me arthritis, but Dr. Appleton rid me of it with the laser wave pain treatment. This isn't supposed to be a spot for Dr. Appleton, but let me give out his number because it works. There's no more arthritis. Give him a call. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Appointments never necessary. 954. We'll give him a bonus spot. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. No, that's true. I'll tell you after the show what he said. If you watch on YouTube, you could have possibly heard it, because you can use that language online. But boy, oh boy. Okay, listen. If you're on hold, hang in there. The Trump derangement syndrome, man. It's back and it's hardcore. Oh, you know what, Steve? Our whole cruise is sold out again. There were a couple of cabins opened up. There's no more cabins. Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, he told me, I've got no more cabins to sell. We've never done this before, not this far out. Yeah, we are, what is this? Well, we're in January, so we have February. We have like 2 months, 2.5 months sold out. Sold out. I mean, I just, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. But you know what? Wings Plus is not sold out, and we hope to see you there, Sample Road location, on Monday at noon for the inauguration. Okay. If you're on hold, hang in there. We will get back to the calls after the bottom of the hour break.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're gonna really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
This Friday morning, there's going to be a small chance of showers and a high of 72 degrees. Tonight, there's going to be a low of 68 degrees and a chance of showers and wind.
Double check myself. Make sure it's still working.
Guy, that's the first thing you got to check every morning.
No, I did, but I wanted to make sure it's still working.
Oh my gosh.
It's still working.
Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Tap the brakes northbound
Yeah, this is the dump button finger. It's hilarious. Hilarious. Pushing a button, I don't know how many times for over 30 years, the dump button, yeah. Because when you got to push it, you know, it's, you know, you do it quick and hard. Welcome, computer software training. Welcome. Make sure you subscribe. This is our bottom of the hour break. If you're new, we broadcast on 8 radio stations, FM radio stations. This is our bottom of the hour break. Well, thank you. We'll be back shortly.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel it. At the Bio Station, West Del Rey, Dr. Mitch Cortez, an expert in hormone replacement therapy, is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural and can restore your hormones to where they were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, have more energy, and even get your sex drive back. And for women, hormone replacement pellet therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more mood swings, better sleep, and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 8 years.
All right, call us on hold. Stand by. I'm Brian. Steve's here. You know, I was telling you yesterday, Steve, after the show, that lately we've just great calls. We've been getting great calls, liberal calls. There was a great call from a liberal, Steve, earlier in the show before you joined. You would have loved this. You would have loved this. I was talking about how he called in about the illegals, and because I was talking about their crime and everything else, and I said, he said to me, he says, well, you're saying that they have a higher crime rate than legal Americans, and I said they have a 100% crime rate. Well, listen to this. I said all the illegals are criminals, and he says to me, "Are you saying that all the illegals are criminals?" I said, "Yes, they're illegally here. I mean, that makes them all criminal." And he didn't think about it. Then when I said that, he kind of paused. And he's like, "Oh, okay." You know, if you guys heard that caller, that was like the call of the week. What an idiot!
Last night, do you remember our conversation off the air?
Vaguely. I was at,
Now this Mexican standoff is going to end.
Mm.
And I'm
Which one? Which one?
About the one with the hostage crew.
Oh, that's going to be fine.
I see now. I guess that's what makes it interesting, the differing opinions. I don't think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to end in violence, because I think the martyrs, and I think that's how the bad guys view themselves. I think they know that if they don't come out,
they're going to do whatever Trump wants, man. Right now, Biden's still in charge, so they're trying to see how far they can push. But Trump's going to come in. You know, Biden's is funding not just Iran, but he's giving money to the Hamas terrorists directly too. Trump's going to cut off that money. They're going to do everything. Trump said if they do not free all the hostages by Inauguration Day, all hell is going to break loose in the Middle East. Those are his words. Well, good. Then release the hostages. I don't know. You want to take some more calls? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oops, sorry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Paul from Kissimmee.
Oh, Kissimmee. How many people admit people always say Orlando, or sometimes Winter Garden, but very few people admit they're actually in Kissimmee. Welcome. Well, you know what I mean. You know, how many people say they're from Kissimmee? Everybody says Orlando. Come on. Kissimmee. Kissimmee used to be a nice place. Oh my goodness. Have you driven down International Drive? Oh my goodness. There's a YouTube channel, Steve. It's called Another Dirty Hotel Room. You should watch it. And this guy, he'll go to the worst hotel rooms that you've ever seen with a black light, and a lot of them are on International Drive in Kissimmee. Another Dirty Hotel Room. Go look it up. You'll love it. Oh yeah. You ever seen it?
No.
Oh, you've seen it? Yeah. Dan Bell is the guy that does it. Oh my goodness, Dan Bell. Anyway, yeah. So. Oh yeah, all the hot spots. Belglade, Kissimmee. So what's on your mind, Kissimmee?
Oh, I was going to bring up about the Ray Epps. I was the former bassist for Toto. I don't know his name, but he was on Glenn Beck, which I'm not a big Glenn Beck fan ever since he disparaged Trump. But the former Toto bassist said he knew Ray Epps and that Ray Epps was his handyman. And he was talking about how he would come there and always talking to him, trying to get him to join a group kind of like Patriot Front, and that he was going to go to a meeting and he drove into the parking lot. He had a bad feeling and backed out of it. And supposedly Ray Epps saw that he drove in there and was mad at him that he didn't go to the meeting, and he quit going to his house. He had a leak in his roof, and he tried to get Ray Epps to come fix it, and he never did.
Okay, now this is interesting. I'm so glad you called. Okay, let me play this clip because don't go anywhere because I'm going to talk to you about this. By the way, Toto, of course, have one of the hit songs of all time, Africa. I Bet It Rains Down in Africa. I mean, that song is. So is this guy like? Is he one of the main guys in Toto, or is he just some hired guy in the back that plays in the band sometimes?
No, he was the actual bass player, but he wasn't the first bass player. I don't think he was.
Well, let me tell you, if anybody from Mar-a-Lago was listening this morning, I hope they know about that and get the bassist from Toto. And I love Toto, by the way. Do they have another song? I mean, if I went to see Toto in concert, do I know any of their other songs or just Africa? I don't know. But anyway, President Trump was on with Bongino yesterday, and President Trump brought up Ray Epps. So don't go anywhere, Call. Let me play this. This is the president yesterday with Bongino. Wait a minute. Why am I not here? Okay, I got it. Oh yeah, okay. I got it on the wrong pot. Here we go.
I believe that is the case.
Can we get an answer between you, Pam Bondi, and hopefully Kash Patel on who this person is and have the FBI open the books? Because I believe this is a huge scandal and a massive cover-up.
I think we will, and I think we're going to find out about Ray Epps, and I think we're going to find out about Scaffold Man. You know who Scaffold Man is, right? Yeah. The guy who's screaming to everybody, go into the building, go into the building.
Okay, so he's going to find out about Ray Epps and that guy too. Now Ray Epps, caller. Now you heard this interview on Glenn Beck with the guy from Toto, but I thought that Ray Epps is one of three things, right? Either who he says he is, just a regular guy, which I doubt, deep state, or a Russian spy. So, and Patriot Front is a Fed front group. They just disbanded right after the election, Patriot Front. So listening to that interview and the guy from Toto, what do you think? Is Ray Epps a Fed or a Russian agent? What do you think his story is?
I think he's a Fed or a Russian agent. It's one of those two. He ain't just some regular guy. But it was interesting to have...
I'm going to look that up.
Claire go, yeah, I knew the guy was my handyman. It's kind of a bizarre story.
Why would he... Yeah. To me, he seemed... If he was... How long ago was that? Was that...
2 weeks ago. I was on...
No. When the guy from Toto had the encounter with Ray Epps, do you know when that was?
It's probably a couple of years ago.
It was during the lockdowns. Well, if he's a Fed, that he probably wouldn't need to do handyman work unless he was trying to get in with... So I would say Russian. If I found out he was a Russian spy, when I saw him, he looks like a cop. You know what I mean? The way he carries himself, the way he looks, Ray Epps. All right.
He really learned English really good.
Do you know any other songs by Toto other than Africa that I would know?
It's funny because when I was a little kid, I worked all summer baling hay and stuff in Minnesota, and I bought my first 8-track tape player. My first 8-track was Toto, but I can't remember the...
I don't know. I'm sure we would recognize... You know Africa, Steve, right? I bet it rains down in Africa.
That line.
Yeah, I know that. That is one of the great songs of all time. I love that song.
Steve Lukather was their guitarist.
Yeah.
This was Ringo Starr and his band and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, that's a great song. All right, take care. Appreciate the information. I'm going to look up that interview. Let's take another call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
It sounds like you.
Okay, thanks. This is Frank from Titusville, Florida.
Frank?
I just wanted to answer your question about Toto.
Yep.
I'll tell you a couple songs that they had. Hold the Line was one of their big songs.
All right, give me a line. Sing me a little bit of Hold the Line.
Hold the line, no. Love isn't always on time.
Oh yeah, that's a great song. That's a great. I know that one. Okay, what's another one? Rosanna's Toto. Absolutely. Yeah. Rosanna's pretty good too. Yeah. I'm sorry. I apologize.
These songs.
No, of course everybody knows Rosanna. Okay, so they got three. So if you go to see them in concert, what do? They got 3 songs. Nobody wants to hear any of the other songs.
Those are just the ones that I know off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right. So you know Rosanna, Steve, right? Yeah, you know Rosanna. I'm not going to sing because all the listeners will leave. All right, we'll go from Gold Records to the Gold Report. We'll take a break.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the final Gold and Precious Metals Report of the week. William Youngerman, how are the metals ending up the week?
Metals are ending up strong. Yesterday, we finally broke through the $2,700 number. That's been sort of a lid on gold for quite a few months. And we traded in a range of $2,690 on the low, all the way up to $2,724 on gold. Closing out the day up $17.70 at $27.1460, $2,714.60 the ounce. Silver was up 18 cents, closing out the day at $30.75. Platinum lost $5 at $9.33, and palladium was down $26 at $9.22. This morning we've got gold down $5.90 after yesterday's nice gains. $27.0870 right now. That's down $5.90. Silver down 56 cents at $30.18 the ounce. Platinum up $10 at $9.43, and palladium up $5 at $9.27. So we're holding above the $2,700 number, and if we close above $2,700 today, I believe we could be looking for possibly all new highs, new record.
That's amazing. And, you know, you were telling us yesterday, and I want to ask if this is still in effect. You were telling us about what great bargains you can get on the very much sought after American Gold Eagle and American Gold Buffaloes. Is that still in effect?
Yes, it is. The premiums on these coins are lower than they've been ever. Actually, you can buy them for less than the mint charges us the distributors. So that's a great buying opportunity. If Gold Eagles and Buffaloes are your favorite choice of bullion, this is a great time to be buying them.
Yeah, and the American Gold Buffalo, if you're not familiar with it, go in here, ask to look at one. They are gorgeous, William. The Gold Buffalo. I mean, that's like my favorite 1 ounce gold coin personally. But yeah. And the American Gold Eagle is a little more than an ounce because it's got a mix in it, right? It's gold and what else is in it? Copper?
Silver alloy. But
yeah. Yeah, it's very hard. And yeah, lowest price ever on the American Gold Buffalo and the American Gold Eagle. William Eggerman opens up at 10 a.m. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. You can stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And find both William Youngerman's address and phone number on his website, williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk on Monday. All right, we are back. And, you know, Steve, I've been watching some of the footage from the fires in Los Angeles. And have you seen, like, some of them are right out of people's front door? Have you seen any of these videos? And a lot, I mean, and have you, and these fires, I mean, they are, it's like, I keep asking myself, who are these idiots that are at their front door filming their house surrounded by these walls of flame? And then I found out that this footage is being taken by doorbell cameras. That's you know, all this news is being captured by doorbell cameras now. Remember in Colorado those Venezuelan gang members were caught on the doorbell cameras, the fires, and it shows you not only how great high quality video that they're using on TV you get from the doorbell cameras, but how durable they are, that they're handling the heat from those fires. And you can get a doorbell camera for free that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized... Was that not a clever transition into a spot or what? Was that a good... How many of you did not even know I was doing a commercial? You know? I mean, you know... That's the best. I love it. If I didn't even tell you, you may not have even known it the whole time. But it was such a good transition, I had to brag about it a little bit. Okay, but Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for the doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and you'll receive a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call, 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. You know, this thing about, I'm so excited with that clip I played of President Trump with Bongino, finding out about Ray Epps and identifying, you know, the guy that was telling people to go towards the building. And I'm sure they've been identified by the feds, but they've not told America. Okay? And that's very important. I mean, that's very important. And maybe we'll find out they were MAGA people. Hey, listen, I don't want to jam up any innocent people, and I don't want to let guilty people go free. I want to know who's who and what happened. I just want the truth about January 6th out. But once Kash Patel, who is going to have the most heated confirmation hearing, Steve, since Clarence Thomas. I don't know if they do they have a date yet on Kash Patel? I'm not sure. I have not seen a date. But if you saw when our former guest, Pam Bondi, was being questioned by these creeps, these Democrat senators, they just love to ask her about Kash Patel. And they're terrified of Kash Patel. Terrified. And once Kash Patel starts going in and investigating who these people were, like that President Trump was talking about on January 6th, and he's going to brief the president, and the president's going to have either tell us or have him tell us. And we're going to find out the truth about what happened, and I cannot wait. There's been a couple other developments, too. Catherine Leavitt is President Trump's White House spokesperson. She was the spokesperson on the campaign. This is amazing. And do you know that this was reported 2 or 3 days ago. President Trump's press secretary is not going to have an office in the West Wing. This is amazing. So what they're doing, if that was reported 3 days ago, if that stands, and I hope it does, what President Trump is doing is kind of like what he did to that Washington Correspondents' Dinner. Remember that Washington Correspondents' Dinner was the big thing, and he stopped it, and it's never made it back. And he is lessening the significance of the White House press briefing, where it'll pretty much just go away. It's not really necessary. Every day, it's just a place for media people to showboat and cause trouble, and ask stupid questions like these senators were asking of Pam Bondi and Pete Hegseth the other day. So I'm glad to see I hope they stick with that Carolyn Leavitt, the White House press secretary, will not have an office in the West Wing and lessen the significance of the press briefing. And also they've said that the mainstream press aren't going to get the front row seats when they do have press briefings anymore, right? And Ari Fleischer, who was George W. Bush's White House press secretary on 9/11, has supported this. He said the press briefing room in its current state is set up like it's the 80s. And the whole thing needs to be revamped and updated. That press pool is poison. Those are poison people. It's a poison process. And, one of the things I found out about this they don't do this with Republicans, but with Democrats. And I found this out during the Obama era, that the White House press, prior to the televised briefing, the media go to the press secretaries and ask their questions and get their answers before the briefings. And when they do the briefings, it's like a scripted play because they've already done it off camera. It's crazy. It's just for show. And it serves no positive purpose whatsoever. And I'm glad to see it get downplayed and go away, because it's just it's never good what they do in that press briefing room. So that's a positive. I mean, we're getting nothing but positivity from everything that's going on here. And I saw Mike Pence. Mike Pence actually thinks people care what he thinks. Mike Pence came out yesterday against the confirmation of Bobby Kennedy. First off, who cares what Pence says, really? But a Kennedy can kill people, literally kill people, and run all the top committees in the Senate, get elected and reelected until they're dead. But if you're a Kennedy that becomes MAGA, or you don't like Dr. Fauci, you can't hold office? I don't understand this. I mean, you look at Ted Kennedy, and he killed a woman. He committed vehicular manslaughter. And God knows what else he did, in his life. I never heard anybody say that was a disqualifier. Did you? Republicans maybe, but not. Yeah. Mary Jo Kopechne, And there's I have looked for the audio of this for years. If anybody finds this, send it to me. Remember I told you when Chris Matthews was on with Bill Maher, and Bill Maher asked him about Chappaquiddick? Oh, this was great, Steve. So Chris Matthews is a big Kennedy lover. He has a house down the street from the Kennedy compound in New England. He's such a sicko fan. I mean, he's a nut, right? And he's on with Bill Maher, and he said some positive things about Ted Kennedy. And Bill Maher, who's as close to being an honest Democrat as you can be these days, he's still a Democrat, but he says, how can you say these things, after Chappaquiddick? And do you know what Chris Matthews said to Bill Maher when he asked about Chappaquiddick? He says, what are you talking about? He says, Chappaquiddick. He said, and Chris, I saw this when it aired. I've not been able to find this. I played it after it happened, and I didn't keep the audio, and it's been disappeared. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, and then Bill Maher says, Mary Jo Kopechne. He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I couldn't believe it. It was like textbook gaslighting, But Bobby Kennedy's MAGA, and Bobby Kennedy's wife is the wife in Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I just saw, I got the HBO app, which it's now Max. No, they're together. She's going to be at the inauguration. Yeah, but Curb Your Enthusiasm, I just saw there's a new. Of course you do, because Larry David's just like you. No, you and Larry David are. If you guys want to know what Steve Kane's like, watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David is Steve Kane. That's you. I'm not kidding, guys. I'm not kidding. But they have a new season I just saw released on the app of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And what, did they kill her off? I didn't see her in any. I haven't watched the episodes, but I saw like the thumbnail previews of each episode, and I don't see Bobby Kennedy's wife in it. The new season, it's on the HBO app, so it's probably on demand if you got HBO, But I didn't see in any of the episode preview thumbnails the wife, and I'm wondering, did they dump her from the new season? I don't know. I haven't watched it yet. If anybody knows, let me know.
That she wasn't.
No, they are together. There was this psycho said that she was having an affair with Bobby Kennedy, but if you marry a Kennedy, that's part of it, right? You just assume that they're going to mess around, right? So I don't think that. No, they're together, and she's been to Mar-a-Lago with Bobby Kennedy lately, the Bobby Kennedy's wife, and she's going to be at the inauguration. Now, if Obama brings his girlfriend, Jennifer Aniston, that'd be great. Oh, why not? He's not running for office again. What's he got to lose? Only thing he's got to lose... The only thing he's got to lose is Michelle Obama, and I don't think he would mind that. Imagine that. Oh, please. That would be awesome if he brings Jennifer Aniston. Now, I want to tell you guys, you are all invited to join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig. Monday, we are going to be at Wings Plus at noon to watch the president's inauguration. You are all invited. This is the Sample Road of Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Okay, it's about a mile west of University Drive on the south side of Sample Road. There is plenty of parking. You can even park across the street. Okay, so there. Absolutely. Now, Steve and I are we're going to get there early, so if you can come early, please do. There's televisions everywhere at Wings Plus because they play all the games, for every game, every league, everything all year round, and they're all going to have the president's inauguration on, and you are all invited to join us, all right? It's the Sample Road location of Wings Plus in Coral Springs, Monday, January 20th at noon, and you're all invited. Reservations are not needed or accepted. Just show up. There's plenty of room, and it's a big place, and it's going to be we did this when Trump was inaugurated the first time, and this is the last inauguration, and there's nothing like enjoying it and experiencing it together. All right, we are out of time for today. We will be back on the president's inauguration day on Monday at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. See you Monday morning at 6 a.m.
WSFS 104.3 HD.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? Take care. You guys take care, too. Thanks for watching, everyone.